Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you for joining us again. Hope you enjoyed our China series there, the three-parter on China.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff, and honestly, some stuff that a lot of people... Some people, because you hear a lot about her, but there's some stuff they didn't know about, and that was a lot of fun. And after this episode, by the way, we're going to do this episode, then we're going to start our Evel Knievel series.
Okay.
And that, I'm telling everybody right now, it is the craziest shit by far that we've ever done, ever. This guy, he got his first wife by kidnapping her, put it that way.
Yeah.
And
a hero to millions of young men.
It's insane. Before he was ever famous or anything, he did so much crazy shit. It's not even fucking funny. And I mean, the jumps aren't even the craziest thing he does. That's the craziest part about it. So anyway, we'll get to all that, like we said, next week. This week, though, we have another interesting episode, and we have some updates at the end of this, too. And we'll do that. Some people that we've been talking about. Definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. That is where you get all of your tickets for live shows. Also merch, everything's there, all the merch stuff. But tickets for live shows, February 7th in Pittsburgh. You're up first for Small Town Murder for this year. The next night in Columbus is sold out. So get in there in Pittsburgh, Ohio, whatever valley. Get your asses in there and do that. So we're very excited. Shutupandgivememurder.com. And then as well, you also want to get Patreon, I assume. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all the bonus stuff. And there's a ton of it. It's the best value you're going to get. Anybody at $5 a month or above, you're going to get, as soon as you subscribe, hundreds and hundreds of back episodes of bonus stuff you've never heard before. And then 2 new ones every other week. That is Crime and Sports, one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. And you're going to get it all. That's right.
Bet.
This week, what you're going to get, we're going to go over Kobe Bryant's little issue he had back there in Colorado.
That's one way to call it.
We're going to go over, we have his interrogation. When the police first talked to him, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, which is hilarious. And then the depositions were a completely different story. It's really interesting. We'll talk all about that.
That's where the closest steakhouse was.
And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to do a little light refresher here. Internet salad time.
Okay.
We're going to go around. We did it once, and people loved it, so we're going to do it again. We're going to go around the internet and just kind of look at what people are talking about and what's going on that day that we're talking. Everything except politics. We'll keep that out of it and just kind of keep it to the goofiest, silliest shit. And it's just going to be a very, very fun funny hour. And we can't
Remember
wait
current events in school? That was so much fun.
Fun stuff. That's what we're going to do, except without anything serious.
So much more fun.
So that'll be a good time. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of that. And you get a shout out at the end of the show as well.
Okay.
Jimmy will screw your name all up, even though he would love to get it correct.
It'd be nice.
That said, let's dive right in here.
Okay.
With our fella of the week here, Darrell Porter. Darrell Porter. You know who he is? He's a baseball player.
Okay.
80s baseball player, late 70s, 80s baseball player, and a tragic tale. We'll put it that way. A bit of a tragic tale.
Indeed.
We'll jump right into this. He is born January 17th, 1952 in Joplin, Missouri. So right in the middle of the country there. He is from Joplin.
Tornado Alley.
Yeah, I stayed in a motel in Joplin when we were driving to New York, and
probably doesn't exist anymore.
This was well after it was leveled by the tornadoes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, this is well after,
and
it's not the greatest place I've ever been. I'll tell you.
I believe it.
It is. I went to a gas station, and the people there looked like they were. If I walked in with a shotgun, that would have excited them. Like, finally, please blow my fucking brains out. Like, that's what the guy looked like.
Brought this for you.
Disappointed when I walked up there with money. Like, I thought you were going to kill me. Damn it. All right. Well, I guess I'll ring this up and keep my fingers crossed for the next guy. Like, that's what it seemed like. So that's when he's born here. By the way, he's one of these guys, throws right-handed, bats left-handed. Just a thing, which I've always found pretty cool when people switch off like that. Yeah. It's interesting. So we'll get into all of his stuff here. His father's name is Raymond, which I assume is where his middle name comes from.
Probably.
Because he's Darrell Ray Porter. His dad was an auto dealership service manager.
Okay.
So
it's a good gig.
Steady job, not wealthy, but,
You'll never be hungry.
Never be hungry. Probably knows something about cars. That helps.
Sure.
His mother's name is Twyla May.
Oh?
That is quite Southern, I would say.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Twyla Mays roaming around New Hampshire.
Twyla is the first time I heard it was from that Schitt's Creek. I thought they invented it for that show.
No. Twyla May sounds like she's going to be like formally introduced to society at her debutante's ball down there or some shit.
Yeah.
Dress up in a big fucking like peach-colored plantation dress and get out there and really fucking chop it up. So Darrell's the youngest of 4 children.
Yeah.
Which is, we always find for some reason, I just kind of anecdotally off the top of my head, that when there's a bunch of kids, the professional athlete ones are always the younger ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I think they're more fostered, I think, by everybody. They have more of a system.
They got a whole bunch of parents.
Yeah. Whereas, like speaking from experience, if you're the older kids, that means your parents had you when they were younger and probably less good at being parents.
Right.
So,
and,
my parents raised my brothers way better than they raised me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, by far. They were, like night and day just because of time.
And I'm the middle, and meaning both sides got more care than I did. I was just fucking abandoned.
Yeah, I was pretty much a feral person. So he's born, like we said, in Joplin here. His father was from Oklahoma, which is in a very small town called Gracemont. And his dad met Twyla May Conley at a square dance in 1947.
Get out of here.
An Oklahoma square dance. I met a nice girl named Twyla May.
Yeah.
Holy
a lot of plaid that
shit.
night. Jesus.
My Christ. I feel like everyone's eating like fried chicken from wax paper that they brought from home. Like that's what it sounds like.
Oh, this is homemade.
This is some homemade shit. They fell in love at first sight here. Twyla May said she took one look at him and said he looks like Clark Gable. That was
does he?
She was hooked, boy. That was that.
A little thin mustache.
Oh, maybe. Maybe he had a little, one of those, I don't know, those little upper crusty mustaches.
That's what Clark Gable had. Yeah.
So they got married pretty quick because, it's the 40s, so you might as well. You never know when Hitler's going to start up again. You never know when something could happen there. It's 47, so let's get going here. I don't trust what Stalin's up to. So Ray found a job driving for United Transport in Joplin. And Darrell began playing baseball at age 9. So he's not one of these kids that started at 4 or anything like that. Played Little League at age 9, just like, normal kids do.
Average American.
It's so funny. Like, I read Sparky Lyle's book, and it was the same thing. He wasn't like a high school phenom.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. He was playing on like traveling teams when some scout saw him. Like not even just like he was playing for like a dairy or something like fucking Gina Davis and A League of Their Own. That's what he was literally doing.
In between mucking the stalls. Yeah.
That's it. And that they found him. And you could like be a baseball player like that.
Right.
Whereas now they have to have like documentation that you've been a baseball robot since you were 4. And when you were 9, you had a certain velocity, you know.
The right muscles are being worked there for baseball too.
Yeah, total strength,
rake, shovels, all that shit. That's
strong wrists.
Yeah,
strong wrists. That's what you need. It's strange though. Yeah, you can't just be a kid who picks up a glove at 9 and just happens to have a good talent for this and make it someday. Because there's some kid already who's like Ivan Drago in Rocky IV was hooked up to machines with like steroids going in and they're monitoring his velocity. Well, his out velocity on the swing is actually, they're analyticizing him, not analyzing, analyticizing him,
and looking at the paper and deciding what we need to do tomorrow to make this product a little better.
That's it. So he, I guess, kind of gravitated toward being a catcher. Mm-hmm. And he said, it was when I began to concentrate exclusively on catching that I really blossomed. Even in those days, I hustled my butt off behind home plate. I was a fiery catcher, which everybody loves a spunky catcher. So that's good here. He went to Southeast High School in Oklahoma City. He did football, basketball, and baseball. Oh. He's a real good athlete here. He has a really good, strong throwing arm, as most catchers do, because be able to fire that thing off to second base, it's a long throw.
Up the middle, it's not easy. Yeah,
it's not easy. So they like that. Nearly 40 universities recruited him to play quarterback, including Oklahoma, OU, Arkansas, SMU, big schools in this area.
Everything right there, too. Yeah, they've all heard of him.
Absolutely. But they told he ended up also, agents talked to him about baseball and said, listen, if you play baseball, you're going to get a signing bonus. I don't know what you expect to get from, University of Arkansas, but it ain't going to be a signing bonus like this. It's on the books. And, you want to start your career, or you want to maybe have somebody hit you in the knee and blow out your knee, and then you're going to be working at the auto dealership with your dad. Which one would you rather have?
Yeah.
They told him you could probably expect $100,000 signing bonus.
Wow.
So they're like,
that'll change lives.
That'll change a lot of shit. That's what I mean. $100,000 is you throw that in front of a kid who isn't a rich kid already or whatever. That's tough.
Car and a house right out of the gate.
Yeah. So the Milwaukee Brewers will end up drafting him in the 1970 June amateur draft here. He's drafted 4th overall. So they ended up giving him $70,000, not $100,000, but still, $70,000 or living in a dorm and having people attack your knees. I don't know which I'd rather do. So he went to the Iowa Class A Pilots in the Midwest League. And the Milwaukee general manager, Marvin Milks, at the time said, we feel this young man is our number 1 catcher of the future. So they had him pegged from the beginning here. So they told him to stop off in Baltimore for a couple days before reporting to Clinton, Iowa, the Clinton Pilots. The Brewers were playing a series against the Orioles, and they said, stop by, look around. They like to get a kid like this and just bring him in the clubhouse so he can get his shock and awe over with. And if when they bring him up in a couple of years, he's not going to be shitting his pants when he walks in
anymore. Yeah,
exactly. So he was like, "Whoa!" He walked in and was like, "Holy shit!" He said he didn't know what professional athletes were like, and he said he walked in, and this is 1970, so the ball players are way different than they are now.
Yeah.
He said he walks in, everybody's drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. Which is what they used to do.
With a hard-earned mustache.
With a good mustache, a good hard-earned push broom. And he said the illusions I always cherished about clean living jocks were shattered in that clubhouse for good.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, these are the best of the best, and they're drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. So everything that my coaches have been telling me for years is bullshit. Okay.
Liars. Damn it.
Never mind. Fucking Hank Aaron is sitting right here. No, he was on the Braves by then, so never mind. Milwaukee Braves. But the Brewers, I'm sure they had good players in 1970. They had to have somebody.
Fucking clue.
Not many, because they moved from Seattle the year before, and
really?
When they were so bad that they didn't even.
Seattle didn't want them.
They were in a city for 1 year. That's how bad they were. So who knows? They might not have had a lot. But he said it all started in my first season of baseball in Clinton, Iowa. I was a high school star in Oklahoma City. When I got to Clinton, I discovered other people were better than I was. I was frustrated, lonely, and 1,000 miles from home.
Okay.
Yeah, they find that out a lot. These whatever town they're from or team they're from, they're the best of the best.
Right.
And then they're put with other kids who are the best of the best from everywhere, and now they're average, and they feel that's a big
inadequate.
Yeah, that's a big psychological thing that players go through on this level always. He said, a couple of my teammates had good intentions. They took me out for a couple of beers in order to relax. He said, that's what happens. After 6 or 8 beers, I had no problems. I could care less that I was hitting 205. I found I could talk to girls, dance with girls. I was no longer shy. Yeah, because you're fucking drunk, of course. That is why beer exists.
You think so?
Yeah, because after 6, 8 of them, you're fucking loose to talk to this woman, and she's receptive to hearing it. So,
if she's got them too, yeah.
Yeah, I would think that's the only reason beer exists. I'm sure. He said I had no problems. He said the following year I graduated to pot, so from beer to weed.
Wow,
which is a lateral move, I would say.
How old is he now?
18.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's in the minors. He's hanging out. He said, a blast. I could not believe how hilarious everything was. Again, the reason why weed exists. He's finding out that drugs work. It took him till he was 18 to realize that drugs work. Booze makes you lose.
The English language is so funny.
Isn't it hilarious? Then I graduated to pills and cocaine. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's different now. Now we're into where that's going to be a problem.
That's what you wanted in the first place.
Yeah. Now, he said, I took uppers, greenies to become motivated. That is completely normal. Estimates at the time in Jim Bouton's book, which he wrote about the 69 season. So, I mean, it was, and 70 season. So it is this exact time period. Yeah. He said that, talking to guys and everything, they estimated at least 75% of the players use greenies, which are amphetamines, handfuls of them, just to get up. Because the point is, back then they played a lot of day games. It started at 1 o'clock, and these guys were out till 4 o'clock in the morning drinking. So you can either be out there hungover and at half speed, or you could take some greenies and be back to start there. So he said that being normal was not good enough for me. I was hooked, and when I came down from one of those euphoric highs, the depression was terrible.
Oh,
yeah,
that's called withdrawals, friends.
That's tough. Yeah, it's your endorphins are running away on you.
No fun.
No, he said it didn't affect my baseball playing so much. No, when you're 18, it doesn't. That's the thing. You can fuck your body up, and it's still ready to go.
Rebounds much quicker.
Oh, man. He said, I worked hard at playing baseball. It was the only thing I had. I had no friends, no love, just baseball. In 1979, I had the best year of my career. I hit .291 with 20 homers and 112 runs batted in. I scored 101 times, had a .429 on-base percentage.
Sure.
So, yeah, he is brought up in 1971 to the Brewers because they're a shit franchise at this point. They're a wretched franchise.
Yeah,
so, a young catcher, they'll bring him up. The Brewers are 69 and 92 that year, which is terrible. Not great at all. Yeah, and I'm looking at this. I'm looking at their roster. Outside of Tommy Harper was kind of a guy that people respected. Outside of that, Jose Cardinal, I guess. Not a lot of big stars on this team, put it that way. Looking at it, there's not a lot at all on this squad. So that's, if you'd walk in and see all those guys drinking and smoking, maybe you'd go, fuck, I shouldn't drink and smoke. What's Willie Mays doing right now?
It feels like this shit is bad for us, guys.
Yeah, we suck. Did you notice that? I think maybe this is part of it?
Perhaps.
So
I found the reason already.
Yeah. In 71, he only played in 22 games, had 70 at-bats. So probably a September call-up, I would assume, is what they'll do there. Hit .214 with 2 homers. Not terrific, obviously. He had a hard time, and this is most hitters coming into the league when they're young, can't hit major league changeups and curveballs. They've never seen them before. Yeah. Because as soon as you have one of those, they bring you up to the major leagues, period. So
you're not playing here much longer.
Nope. If you're in the minors, you don't see a lot of major league level curveballs. They just don't exist down there. So that's really, remember Bull Durham when he's like exploding sliders, fucking this and that. That's what it is. And so he was, struggled with that like everybody else. Got tired by the end of the season, and he said he took to drinking a good amount once he got up to the majors.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he put away 4 bottles of beer the first night, and then the rest of the season he went out a few nights a week, and he said just to relax and drink and chill. Chill out. So the off season, he meets a young lady named Terry Brown. And I don't know if she thought he looked like Clark Gable, but they started hooking up pretty quick. And right away, they're setting a wedding date. So yeah, this is, he's 19, great. 20 years old. Yeah. So she must be.
Do everything. Yeah.
She is the 1970s Twyla May here. Yeah, she goes, Twyla May goes all the way. So
oh, boy.
She also started using quaaludes at this point.
He did?
He did, yeah. This is when he gets into quaaludes. Okay.
So he went from beer to weed, then
Coke,
pills and Coke.
Ludes and Coke, which are up and down.
Yeah.
Which is what you do. That's
and
how you maintain.
All the way to Ludes.
Yep. If you've seen anything about the 70s, that was a very, very popular drug because it worked, again.
Sure.
Made you feel loose and chill
here.
Very,
very strong.
Oh, yeah. He said, they eventually became my drug of choice. With a lude, nothing bothered me. Yeah, no, that's why they exist. Again.
Nothing bothered me.
Eye-opening fucking realizations that drugs work are hilarious. So
eye-opening, man. As soon as you find something that works like that and you love it, it really is. It's mind-blowing because you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is what works with my brain chemistry.
I'll do anything to feel this forever.
This is terrific. So May 31st, 1972, the Tulsa World newspaper has an article with a headline that says, Porter always hits well when fiancé is around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a little bit of this. It's funny as shit. When Darrell Porter clouded his game-winning homer for Evansville against Tulsa Monday night, it didn't come as a surprise because he always delivers when his parents and fiancé are in the stands. Yeah, so he says that this is his sweetheart. He's talking about when they're gonna get married, and blah blah blah. They call her his high school sweetheart, but
not even close.
She didn't. Yeah, they didn't meet till he was in the majors. So I don't know, or in the minors.
I don't know what high school he went to.
That's weird. He says, whenever she's around, I do all right in the game. Terry visited me in Milwaukee this year when I got my only homer of the season. He had 2 homers that year, by the way, according to Baseball Reference. So. I assume they know more than him, even though it's his own career. It just happened.
He's on Ludes, James.
He's all fucked up. Yep. He said that hit enabled the Brewers to tie the Red Sox 1-1 in the 9th. And he said, only trouble is we lost in extra innings. So, yeah, they talk about him passing up football scholarships and everything else. He said to get the $70,000 from the Brewers. And he said, I'm not rich and I'm not poor, but I always wanted to play baseball. That was my childhood dream.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, that's how it was, too. They weren't, unless you were a superstar, you weren't rich. You weren't rich. You were just, living fine. So he said that when his parents were there, he hit 2 home runs one day in the minors. And he said that had to be the great feeling for me, one of the best I've had in a game, hitting him in front of his parents. So that's his whole thing. He talked about the Milwaukee manager helped him out, all that kind of shit. He said, Dan helped me so that I wouldn't be off balance hitting a fastball.
Great.
Yeah. He was quarterback on the Tulsa World's All-State football team in 1969. And he was All-State in basketball and baseball.
Great. He's an athlete. That's
he
what
was. He was the recipient of the first Jim Thorpe Award given to the most outstanding athlete in Oklahoma.
Wow.
The best in the whole state of everything in one.
And he's the first one.
First one, yeah.
Wow.
He said, I really cherish that award. It means a lot to me. He said, I still love football and play basketball all the time during the off season. He said, but, I think I can catch in the big leagues. He said, you can't always go by the books on the hitters up there because the hitters are constantly adjusting, so you have to mix them up at times, talking about calling a game. He said, spring training, he didn't do very well this year. He said, I guess I had a bad attitude. I'm sort of a homesick guy, and I missed my parents. Still, it was a good preseason until the strike undid everything. There was a strike that year, too.
Yeah.
He says that the schedule's too long. He says, my former manager, Dave Bristol, was a little surprised when I made that statement, but I feel catching 110 games a season is a good chore. There's not a lot of guys that now or ever that caught like 162 games a season. Yeah. It's just too brutal on your body, especially
on your knees.
Well, especially in day games, when they had all these day games. If you go to St. Louis in the summer, on the turf. It's 130 degrees on the turf. You can't be down there like that with all that equipment on day after day after day.
And
you're going to suck by the time the end of the season comes.
Being in that position down like that'll fuck your legs up. They have like pads that go behind their legs that they're like
they sit on them kind of.
But that doesn't do enough, man.
You're still torquing your legs up good.
Yeah.
Everything. It hurts.
Everything in your knee is pulled tight as shit.
And back then, outside of a second baseman or shortstop getting taken out to interrupt a double play, the catchers are the only guys on the field that are having actual collisions with people too.
In the
back
line
then,
of fire
where they're
the whole time.
taking guys coming to the plate, getting blown over, guys foul tipping a ball off of your fucking mask, and that hurts. And that all adds up over a course of a season.
Absolutely.
So he said, I try to be confident, not cocky, because that's something you can overdo. I try to sign all the autographs I can for them. That's the day I'll begin to worry. I try to sign all the autographs I can for them. That's the day I'll begin to worry. I don't know what that means. He said that, quote, about baseball, funny thing about it, I got started late. I didn't participate in athletics until I was 9 years old, but once I started, I enjoyed it. Maybe I didn't get burned out. So he said maybe that's why. Yeah. He said that talking about baseball and his goals. He said, I'm taking each day as it comes, and as soon as I can make contact consistently, then I'll be ready. I don't want to say when because I don't want to disappoint myself. That's fair, I guess. Yeah. So they talk about his family. I guess his older brother played first base for Murray State, and his little brother was playing football and basketball for Southeast High School at the time, too. Okay. He said, Eddie can really throw a football. And he said, I've had a taste of the big leagues, and I know that's the place I want to play. He's like, my little brother plays football. I want to do this. And they asked him, what do you think? How do you compare yourself to Johnny Bench, who was the best catcher in the league at the time?
And ever.
Yeah, one of. Yeah, he said, I don't want to think about that, but that's a heck of a compliment. And he said people compare him to Johnny Bench. So 72 seasons, 65 and 91 for the Brewers. They have 3 managers that year. That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Never a great sign when you have 3 fucking managers.
Management constantly.
Yeah. So they expected him to be the kind of platoon catcher, kind of back and forth with a guy named Ellie Rodriguez, but he still wasn't doing well. He played in 18 of Milwaukee's first 25 games, Darrell does, and hits $125 with 1 homer and 2 ribbies. So not good in 25 games.
Yeah.
Terrible. So they send him back to Evansville for AAA in Indiana. And one of the GM here for Milwaukee said, we felt that major league pitching was just a little too tough for him, so we sent him down to the minors to develop more batting experience. Yeah, so 73, Brewers 74 and 88 this year. How many managers? Only 1. That's good.
Oh, that's great.
Good for them. You're coming around, guys. Yeah. So he cut down his swing a lot. He had kind of a lot of swing to him, and kind of want to quiet that down a bit. And efficiency of motion is what you're going for in a batting swing.
Yeah.
So he said, I have natural power, so I don't have to cut hard. So he said the change in approach is what did everything. A shorter swing, there's less to fuck up the shorter amount of area you have between where your bat is and where it hits the ball. Yeah. There's less to fuck up in there is basically how you think about it.
The quicker you get there, the less time you have and things to...
The less goofy shit to do. The more shit in your swing, the more shit can go wrong in your swing.
Low amounts of mechanics.
Yep.
Make it simple. Sure.
So this year, he's technically a rookie this year because he never played the amount of games you have to be considered not a rookie anymore. You have to do a certain amount in a season. This year, though, 117 games played, 350 at bats, and he hit .254 with 16 homers and 67 ribbies.
Okay, now we're moving.
That is fine for a catcher playing 120 games. Like, that is perfectly fine if you're a good defensive catcher.
Certainly in shape now.
Really good here. He ends up tied for 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Oh.
So that's not bad at all. Can't get better than that. Almost a Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So 74, they still stink. 76 and 86. Still suck. Looks like they got a couple of Alou brothers on the roster this year, maybe.
Really?
A couple guys like that. Oh, Robin Yount comes on this year. He's 18 years old.
In what year?
Rookie Robin Yount, 74.
Wow.
Yep. Fucking Hall of Famer there.
That's unbelievable.
18. Yeah, that's wild, man. So the Brewers traded the other catcher they had, the veteran, in the offseason. So
we're running it with Darrell.
We're running it with Darrell here. Yeah, fuck it. We're going with him. And he's going to end up making the All-Star team this year.
Darrell is?
Yeah, Darrell's going to do that. Yeah, he said that it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
I believe it.
By the time, at the All-Star break, he was hitting 272. So that's great for a catcher at the time. And he ended up struggling later on, as a lot of catchers have tough second halves because their body starts to get beat up a little bit.
Sure.
And he ended up finishing with 241 with 12 home runs he hit.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
All right.
So, not bad here. He, near the end of a doubleheader against Cleveland on September 23rd, he had a little bit of an incident, and it's
tell me about it.
Fucking hilarious. Apparently, some guy sitting right behind the dugout, a fan, was really giving him some shit for
in the business.
For several innings, just riding him the whole time. Okay,
it's all day
fucking long. All right, and if this guy, he's hungover, he's got a greeny buzz and his head hurts from too much fucking beer last night. And at some point late in the game, he fucking jumped up on top of the dugout and punched this guy.
Oh, what?
Jumped up on top of the dugout in full fucking uniform and fucking started beating the shit out of this guy. Like,
none of us expect that.
No, he pulled a Vernon Maxwell on him, which is interesting. And Babe Ruth did that once too. So
really?
Porter afterwards, when asked by reporters, he said, "I'd rather not say anything about what happened." And his manager, Del Crandall, said, "The fans were on him all night. It was one of those quick reaction things. It certainly didn't take him long to get up there to the top of the dugout."
It was quick. Yeah.
It was just great. He just jumped right up there. So the newspapers everywhere printed photos of everybody holding him back, which is this picture here, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh, Jesus.
Like
they got a hold of him.
It's like 5 teammates. They're holding his legs. One guy's got him in a chin lock.
Somebody's holding his neck.
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And the caption is, "Porter is captured," which is very funny. Holy shit. So the Indians won that game anyway.
Really?
Yeah, so they lost that game, and he had to get in trouble for that shit.
Yeah,
at the same time. So September 25th, 1974, Darrell Porter is suspended and fined for this. Obviously,
you can't punch people that are watch a game.
Certainly not the fans. That's not. Especially they paid for a good seat too.
Right. Yeah. One of the best.
Run up to the upper deck if you want to punch somebody. None of these box seat people. They're shelling out.
If you think those polite people with money down at the bottom are saying offensive shit, you should have to hear the people up there that just spent their entire day's pay to be here.
Yeah,
they're saying awful shit about you.
Awful shit. So he's an all-star, 241. Like we said, 12 homers, but he was hitting really well up to the break. Yeah. He's an all-star. He's punching people. He hops up to the dugout very quickly on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and say grace at this point.
Is that right?
Yeah, for his athletic dugout hopping abilities. And
he's got some prowess,
And he's an all-star. I mean, that's grace, babe, right there. Yeah. So 1975 Brewers are 68-94. They are just rancid.
Honestly.
Shit, what a shit fucking team. Looks like they fired their manager the day before the last day of the season. They have two managers, but one guy has a 1-0 record. So they have brought in a guy to manage the last game.
And he won, for God's sake.
Fucking hilarious. Hank Aaron on this team, by the way.
Really?
Yes, went back to Milwaukee here for his last little whatever the fuck here. He didn't play much, but still, he went there. Anyway, Darrell is going to hit 232 this year with 18 homers, 60 RBI. Got his power numbers up, but he's only hitting 232. On-base percentage 371, which is not awful. That's pretty decent. So he takes a walk now and then, shit like that. 89 walks and 77 strikeouts that year. Yeah. Which is more walks than strikeouts, which is good. The other last year it was 88 strikeouts and only 50 walks. So doing better. 76. The Brewers are 66-95. They are just a rancid franchise.
Years of this, huh?
Fuck, man, they were bad. Well, they were an expansion team, so they had to build from Seattle out. And man, did it take them a long time. Other teams got it a lot quicker than this. By the way, was Paul Molitor on this team yet? No, just okay. I think he comes in 76 or 77. Molitor, I want to say. So 76, 66, and 95. Again, shitty. Let's see here. At this point, 76 really turns into a mess for him. This is his low point in life here, as far as if there was a reverse grace, this is it, as far as his career goes. So, he bats .208 with 5 homers and 32 RBI that year, which is fucking miserable. That's just terrible. Miserable.
Yeah.
And off the field, it's even worse, if that's possible.
Why?
He's got the off-the-field equivalent of a .208 batting average this year as well. His marriage ends in divorce this year.
Oh, ouch.
That's not great. And he steps up and escalates his drug issues as well.
Yeah.
Get rid of the wife, get more drugs. That's what he did.
Or, you either lost her because of it or you did more because of the loss. So either way, it's bad.
That's it. He said a friend introduced him to cocaine at a party.
Oh.
He said, I really wanted to really fit in, and coke did that for me.
Oh, boy.
This guy,
that's a bizarre.
He's got seems like social anxiety is a thing for this guy.
That's something. Yeah, he's also got a lot of insecurities about himself.
Absolutely. On the field, he seems confident, and off the field, not so much. So, but a little bit of drugs. Yeah. Hey, coke will make everyone feel confident.
Yeah, but I don't know that I need to be.
If we sat here and did 2 lines each. Yeah. We would think we solved world hunger in the next hour. We'd have a whole plan that we would never follow through with.
But I would never do it because everybody else is doing it, and I want to fit in. That's a weird reason.
He literally said, I really just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
Like he's in an after-school special or some shit. Try a little of this.
Yeah, like he's at Dillard's buying a new pair of jeans that everybody has.
Yeah, like he's getting some Jenkos in 1997, and he's like, now these are big enough.
Here we go.
The whole family can wear these. Excellent. So he said that he contemplated suicide, but not seriously. It just passing thought. Should I kill myself? Nah. Okay. No, that's dumb. He said that, quote, there was always pot and quaaludes, beer, and cocaine to dull the agony of living. So fuck it. I'll just do drugs. The team's in last place. He's hitting 208. His wife's leaving him. And he's doing
full of quaaludes.
And he's doing fucking coke and quaaludes. So 76, bad year for him. Jesus. Bad year. Absolute mess. And then it gets a little bit weirder when in December of 1976, the Brewers trade him to Kansas City for infielder Jim Wolford and infielder Jamie Quick. Sure. And so he said he wanted to just have a new start And he said that before this, his mind wasn't 100% on baseball the previous year, obviously.
So where did he go?
Kansas City, the Royals.
Okay.
They sent him there. The Royals, he got lucky because he went to a goddamn good team. The Royals were great back then. 102-60 that year.
Oh, my.
For first in the AL West, and then they lost to the Yankees in the ALCS, as they did a lot back then. Manager Whitey Herzog, future Cardinals manager there.
Is that right?
Absolutely. You got George Brett, a young George Brett on this team. Mm-hmm. Frank White. Oh, UL Washington. A lot of guys I remember on this team here. This year, Darrell hits .275 with 16 homers and 60 RBI. Yeah. Really cleans it up. Plays in 130 games. Does terrific in the playoffs. He hits .333 too, so not bad. He said, when I first came to Kansas City, I felt a lot of pressure, but after I got to know everyone, there was really no pressure. So
I saw that we win all the time. It's so much easier.
Very concerned about how he's perceived by others. That's a real big deal for him. More than most athletes I've ever heard of. They don't give a shit if the guy, it's not a social event.
Yeah.
They don't usually care. Usually a lot of the guys are assholes on purpose, you know?
Yeah, he's the first guy. They probably created that award of the best best athlete in the state for him. He probably was so good that they were like, we should have an award for guys like this.
And all the guys who are great in every sport.
Right.
Yeah, we should do that.
I mean,
Jim Thorpe.
That level of fellatio publicly.
Oh, as a child?
You shouldn't need any more than that. Yeah, but maybe that creates something in you that if they're not doing that, it's because they hate me.
That's possible, or that he just thinks that there's only down to go from here. Some people are like, "Oh shit, they put me here. Now what?"
Yeah, psychologically, as a young, you know what I mean, as somebody that's still got a lot of growth to do between the ears, to be filleted like that, to be told how great and special you are, and then you go play for a team and you lose 2 games to every one you win, and your numbers stink, and
your wife doesn't want to be with you anymore.
Your wife leaves you.
It's a lot. That'll put you down in the dumps. But Coke will make you feel better. That is one thing for Coke. Yeah. If you do it, you'll feel fine. That's one thing. So the Royals very good again, 92-70 for first in the AL West, and again they lose to the Yankees in the ALCS.
Right.
That year, again, Whitey Herzog, who must have hated the Yankees a good amount by then, I would imagine. I can only imagine now this year, like we said, 265, 18 homers, 78 RBI. Kind of his best year. He's an all-star again this year.
Great.
And this is something, he's 10th in the MVP voting.
Of everybody.
So, you could say the 10th most valuable player in the league
10th
here.
10th most important person in this whole fucking thing.
Not too fucking shabby. October 6th, 1978, so right after the season here, there is an article in the Kansas City Times called Porter Scared in City. Okay. It says, with a possible shudder, Darrell Porter pressed himself further into the seat of the careening taxi as the cabbie hurled an obscenity at the red-faced driver of a car in the next lane of traffic. I think they're talking about going to New York for the
traffic.
The Royals catcher on his way to an off-day workout at Yankee Stadium, where Game 3 of the ALCS will be held today. He cast a furtive look at the skyscraper on his left and muttered, "This town scares me. I don't like it."
It's too big.
It's too big. The words came out in an Oklahoma drawl that seemed oddly out of place with the nasal mutterings of New York's teeming millions. The cowboy swagger, too, when he walked from the taxi in Yankee Stadium, seemed to offer an offbeat cadence into the darting, scurrying faces of this city's native pedestrians. What came to mind was a picture of a country boy at loose ends in the Big Apple. It is a picture that Darrell Porter is both at home and at odds with. He said, quote, "I'm more laid back, but yeah, I guess I'm pretty much of a country boy, too." Isn't that what country boys are? Supposed to be laid back? I guess he's more laid back than a country boy.
He is a fish out of water is what he is.
It seems like wherever he is, he's a fish out of water, though. That's the weird part.
Never been in water.
He's been flopping for a while now. He might want to check. Maybe he's not a fish.
Yeah.
He's been out of water so long and still alive. I mean, check and see if the gills have developed into lungs
Maybe
here.
It's a tortoise, man.
That's possible. You don't know. Could be an amphibian of some kind. So they said a confusing statement perhaps, until you consider that Darrell Porter, at age 26, has only in the last 2 seasons really found out what makes Darrell Porter tick. Yeah, drugs. Yeah. He likes cocaine. That's what he figured out.
Ludes. Fuck.
Ludes, coke.
Ludes.
Feeling great. Yeah, get some ludes in me. Oh, God. Darrell Porter grew up on the south side of Oklahoma City, went to Southeast High. That's a pretty rough side of town, he'll tell you. All the rich people live on the north side, and all the river rats live on the south side. Porter says, I didn't really fit the mold. I never drank, never smoked, never cussed. I didn't go chasing women around. Really, I was just a very straight guy when I was in high school. They said the experience toughened Porter, the process carrying him through some bad times with the Milwaukee Brewers, then on to standout years in 77 and 78 with the Royals as their number 1 catcher. And he says, I can see those things that I grew up around coming out in my life now. I was pushed around a lot in high school. I was pushed around a lot when I came to the major leagues. Who pushes around the top athlete in the state?
Drug dealers.
So I don't know who's. Yeah,
your wife that's unhappy with you.
Yeah, even if he can't do anything, he's got 3 teams worth of people that'll kick your ass. We need him. He's the quarterback. He's the star of this, the star of that. That is fucking wild. He said, finally, I just got fed up with it. The intimidation, knocking you on your can on plays at home plate, throwing pitches at your head. They don't mess with me like they used to. Really, I guess it's that I've just grown up. I know what I can do and what I can't do. He said Porter's reverie was interrupted by manager Whitey Herzog's call to practice. But before answering that call, Porter said something that really may have told where this laid-back country boy from Oklahoma is coming from. He said, quote, you know, I drink a little now. I swear a little. Those are things I'm not very proud of. Sometimes I wish I could go back to the way I was then. But then I remember how great cocaine smells, and I said, never mind. He didn't say that. That's from me, but
I love the scent.
That is fucking great. By the way, there is an ad right under this, which is hilarious, for, this is it's a boxing match, and it just says,
who is that?
Tony.
Yeah.
And it's got a picture of a guy
named Tony
versus Mike Evans. Just Tony. Hey, Tony's going to kick the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
Tony.
And it's Tony.
And it's at the Italian Gardens, by the way. So I assume in Kansas City, because this is a Kansas City paper. So that's fucking hilarious. Some guinea named Tony is going to beat up a guy named Mike Evans while all of Tony's cousins watch. That's how that's going to work, I think. So 78, he hits the playoffs in 78. He has a good playoff too. He hits 357 that year.
Yeah.
So he did really well. He told Sports Illustrated that he thought the Yankees and Royals were really, really close as far as who was better team. They were close in goodness. He said that not much separated the teams. He said, but that small difference is what makes KC a good team and New York a great one. He said that he spent his off season, because they were doing so well and he felt great about himself now, back on track, he said, quote, I went wild in the offseason. Got right into the old fast lane, he said, and started doing more coke and really having a good party time here.
I would too, shit.
Fuck yeah, how do you not? Especially you're single, you're young, people are telling you you're great.
And in the 70s, it sounds great.
Yeah, they're fucking quaaludes and piles of coke and no one cares. It's fucking hilarious. So 1979, 85, and 77 this year. So they missed the playoffs. Back then you had to win your division or win your whole whatever, not conference, but it was AL West and AL East. So you had to be tops in one of those. So this year he replaces, on the Royals, he had replaced Buck Martinez as the catcher. 79 is his best season. So if you're Darrell, and you started doing coke after the 76 season when you had your most miserable season. That's your low point. You start doing coke. From the second you snort your first line, things start getting better for you.
Yeah.
Not that the coke caused it, but I'm saying that's how humans' brains work. They make cause and effects whether they are or they aren't.
And 3 years later, I'm at the pinnacle of my life.
I'm a great player.
This is clearly a part of it and a reason for it.
Clearly, this is helping me.
It's science. Yeah.
Look at it.
I've experimented for 3 years, and I'm better.
As a matter of fact, there's numbers involved even you can track to see.
It's just science, man.
This year, he hit 291.
Goddamn.
So he said, no Coke, 208. Coke, 275, 265, 291.
Yeah.
So this year, by the way, he's getting to be a much better hitter in terms of having an eye and everything else. It is 291, 20 homers, 112 ribbies, which is great for a catcher.
Right, yeah.
Also, 121 walks to lead the American League.
Oh.
So he went from a guy that used to get about 50
Dangerous.
walks a year to a guy now that has twice the walks that he does strikeouts. So that's
because the other team respects you and is scared of you and would rather put you on base than try to strike you out.
And he has a good enough eye to not swing at crap anymore.
Yeah.
And his on-base percentage is 421, which is great.
Yeah,
OPS at 905. So even analytics nerds would say, holy shit, good fucking year for him.
Yeah.
He's an all-star again, and he is 9th in the MVP voting this year instead of 10th. So, I mean,
he's moving up.
You got to be feeling great. He became
8 more years. He's number 1.
He's going to be the best. Holy shit! 8 more years, big old pile of coke. He's going to be the best catcher who's ever lived.
Johnny Bench who?
Johnny fucking who?
We would
Yogi
Johnny
what?
Bench Johnny Bench.
Yeah. Yogi what? Roy Campo what the fuck?
Never heard of him.
Nope. He became the 6th catcher in Major League history to score 100 runs and have 100 RBI that year.
Okay.
That's a lot. He had 101 runs
First?
scored. For the 6th in history to do that.
Oh, okay.
In history. So
Ever,
that's big. Previously been accomplished by Mickey Cochran. I believe it's an old Tigers player. That's the guy I think that Ty Cobb used to give money to. Yogi Berra, Roy Campanella, Johnny Bench, Carlton Fisk. That's Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. All Hall of Famers. Like first ballot Hall of Famers too. Not even anything else. So really great season. Unbelievable. 100 walks, 100 runs, 100 ribbies in a season. Only Porter and Mickey Cochran did that. And that was in like the 20s he did that. So
sick.
He's the only guy in the modern era at that time to do that, which is huge. Big time here. He's doing great. He's another all-star again, like we said this year. And over the winter, he's like, well, fuck.
What else can
Guess what I'm going to do?
What is that?
Exactly what I did last year, really party and party it up.
Yeah.
So he said he settled into a nice routine in the winter. Nice routine.
Heroin shooting into his balls?
Quote, get up, make coffee, do a quaalude, drink a beer, sniff cocaine, and then smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
That is the breakfast of champions right there. You put that in a bowl and pour some 2% over it, you got something there, buddy. Let me tell you something.
10 a.m. he's fucked up.
All fucked up for the day.
Yeah.
Just going to smoke and fucking probably do some maintenance coke over the day as he starts to come down a little bit. So during the winter of 79-80, he said he became paranoid because he's fucking doing coke from the time he wakes up. So paranoia will do that. That'll happen.
You're not going to be very comfortable in your own skin.
No, he was convinced by teammates that Commissioner Bowie Kuhn knew about his drug abuse, which was probably true because this was the time where, if we remember, we did the Pittsburgh drug scandal. This is the year this was all happening, 79-80. The leagues were all cracking down and doing like their own investigations. And this is the Willie Mays Aikens era too with the Royal that we talked about. So this is when guys were being caught doing it. Remember, there was the guy in the Willie Mays Aikens episode who a fan who was like a rich guy who would invite them all over to his fucking place and have parties for the players and give them
owner or some shit like that.
Some local businessman and give them shitloads of coke and all this type of shit. A lot of guys got suspended and their careers got all fucked up because of it. He said Porter told people that he thought Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner of baseball, was trying to sneak into his house.
Oh.
Now, picture a fat fuck old baseball executive climbing through this guy's back bedroom window, and that's hilarious to me. Was fat ass sticking
anybody
out, legs
thinking
kicking.
that the commissioner of any sport has time to be at anybody's fucking house.
Yeah, no shit. But they were hiring investigators to do pretty deep shit on guys back then.
But not Bowie.
Not Bowie himself.
He's hiring
not,
people. Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just pictured him trying to hanging out of his window going, come on, boost me.
Amazing, yeah.
So he said that he found himself, Porter, not Bowie, sitting up at night in the dark, watching out of his front window, waiting for Bowie Kuhn to approach, while clutching. These are the things he's holding: billiard balls and a shotgun.
All 15 of them?
These are his weapons. He's got an arm, so I'm going to start throwing balls at him. If that doesn't work, I have a shotgun.
Okay.
So he's going to shoot Bowie Kuhn in his front yard. That is, that would have been a scene. I would have paid to watch that. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
So, and he would have had right to if he was coming to his house in the middle of the night, I guess.
What's with the billiards, though? Why has he got those?
To
if
throw.
He's just going to shoot you. Yeah.
Well, I think that's to throw. And if you miss with the balls, then, if Bowie can be quick getting out of the way, he might be spunky. So then you can shoot him there as a backup. February 9th, 1980, the Kansas City Times, Darrell Porter hires an agent.
Now he has?
Now he finally did. This was the time still, like in the early 70s, guys still went into the general manager's office to talk about their contracts, and there was no agents. If you hired an agent, a lot of times the teams wouldn't deal with you anymore because they were trying to set a precedent to not have agents. But post-free agency, by 80, most guys had an agent. So they said in the article that until recently, the Royals had been talking contract with Darrell Porter. From now on, they'll be talking with his agent.
Yeah.
So,
Talk to him about it.
No shit. So if they say for the last month or so, Porter's been engaged in informal discussions with Joe Burke, executive vice president and general manager of the Royals. His hiring of an agent doesn't mean negotiations have bogged down. Porter said they haven't even really started. He said, but the agent plans to set up a session with the Royals early next week. So he ends up signing. Says 1980 season, they're 97-65.
Yeah.
First in the AL West. They beat the Yankees in the ALCS finally. Get some revenge there. It's been a while for them. Finally, because I think that's 3 years in a row they lost in the LCS to the Yankees, I'm pretty sure. And then, because I think Chambliss was 76, that home run at the end of the game, and then the next 2 years. And then they go all the way to the World Series where they lose to the Phillies.
Damn it.
So, lose to the Phillies there. Jim Fry is the new manager, by the way. They've gotten rid of Whitey. I think he went on to the Cardinals at that point. Fucking Dan Quisenberry on this team. Shit, yeah. Do you remember him?
No.
He's a side armor.
Fun name to say, though.
One of those underhand side armers.
Yeah.
Like his knuckle, there's been a couple plays where his actually hit his hand on the ground throwing.
Wow.
Yeah. That close. Like there's stills of him where, his finger clears the ground by a half an inch. He's so fucking low to the ground. Quisenberry was an awesome looking dude. Yeah,
what a sick name. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Quisenberry. Oh, Paul Splittorff. Lots of guys on this team. All right. So this year, Darrell hits 249 with 7 homers and 51 RBI. So way down from his previous numbers. But he's still an all-star this year.
Okay.
Because that all-star voting goes on name recognition, a lot of it. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Griffey could have been injured and had the worst season of his life, and we'd still put him in.
Oh, yeah. I remember guys.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, guys that were injured all year that didn't play a game were voted starting all-star team guys. It's like, doesn't matter.
Fuck
yeah.
We're putting Barry Bonds in it.
Yeah, and 80, I don't know if they went to the fan voting yet or if it was still just
writers.
It used to be player like the managers and the writers and all that, but then it went to they picked their team, kind of the managers, but then it went to fans. Which is, I don't know how good that of a system that is, because I remember when I worked at the Diamondbacks, they really wanted Luis Gonzalez to be an all-star. So they brought in mountains of boxes of ballots and said, whenever you guys aren't on the phone, be punching ballots for Luis Gonzalez. Dude, tens of thousands they had us do in this fucking office. Yeah, scummy. That's what goes on in reality.
Yeah, but there's also the fan favorite in every town that even if they're not great, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll vote for that guy because people love him.
And that's what it was. We're talking about the starting all-stars for like the 2001 all-star team in the outfield in the National League. Griffey, guys like that were entrenched, every year all-stars. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like you weren't going to be the shortstop because Barry fucking Larkin was there forever.
Right.
It's shit like that.
I don't even care if he's rehabbing a hip injury. We fucking want him.
He's still going to make it. So during spring training 1980, Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher back in the day, Don Newcomb, paid a visit to the Kansas City clubhouse. Newcomb, by the way, he was a huge alcoholic who became a big, he goes around and talks to the guys as a cautionary tale. Don't fuck your career up like I fucked mine up. We've talked about him a few times on a few episodes.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And they were bringing him in. All these teams were bringing him in to talk to the guys. And they're just like, look at this old loser, because they're all coked up and feeling their oats and feeling strong and shit.
Maybe you should have had some fucking ludes instead of the whiskey there. I can smell your cirrhosis. Get out of here.
Yeah, he's up there with gray hair, and they're like, he's never had Coke, like, at all.
Yeah.
Don, come back here a minute. I'd like to change your mind. We've heard your bullshit. Now listen to mine.
Try this.
He asked the players 10 questions, the point of which being if a player answered 3 or more of the questions with an affirmation, the player might have a problem with drugs or alcohol.
Uh-oh.
Those tests are all bullshit, by the way. Some of them are like, have you ever gotten so drunk that you got sick the next morning? Yeah, who the fuck hasn't?
First time I drank. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I drank heavy. I was real fucking sick.
That's how you gauge, okay, that's too much. And then you know next time, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, so basically, 93% of adults are alcoholics at that point. Have you ever gotten sick?
Or you got a problem.
Have you ever had more than 5 drinks in a month? Shit like that. Like, give me a break here. So he said he affirmed all 10 questions. He's like, huh.
Yes to everything.
Yeah, that's not good. All 10 is probably bad.
Yeah. Do you ever drink a bottle of wine with your asshole? Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Sure
While sniffing a line of cocaine? Fine. It's like you know me. Maybe Bowie Kuhn is in my house. He sees everything I do.
I was doing handstands. And
I got a fucking a wine IV in my asshole, and I got Coke coming in the other side. Quaaludes.
Suppositories? Why, yes.
Let's do it. That sounds great.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
So he checked himself into a rehab center after answering yes to all 10 questions. He was like, oh, shit, this isn't good.
You're saying this is a bad thing.
Oh, this is so bad. Okay. Because I looked at my numbers, and I've been an all-star for three straight years.
Sure seems good.
Seems okay to me.
The paycheck has told me yes.
My agent says that whatever I'm doing, keep doing it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So he then ends up saying he is abusing alcohol, cocaine, quaaludes, and weed. So he's got a nice 4-pack here. The general manager of the Royals, Joe Burke, told reporters Darrell Porter has a very confidential and personal problem, which makes it sound like he's a pedophile and he's going for help. Makes it sound like we caught him in the boys' bathroom with his dick out and, we think he needs some psychological help, so we're going to send him away for a while.
The only thing that made it controversial would be a bad word to call your fucking disease or problem, but that's the only way this gets much worse.
Much worse.
Personal?
Confidential and personal sounds like,
confidential is not good.
Where did he put his dick? That's what it says to me, right?
Yeah.
He said, I cannot betray his confidence, but I don't expect him to be back with us until he's had treatment for his problems. That is, I'd be on the phone going, bro, just tell him I did coke. What the fuck? People think I'm a fucking kid toucher now. What are you doing?
Tell him it's lewds. No, don't say that because they're going to hear just lewd.
Yeah, they're going to hear lewd. Damn it. They're going to know him. They're going to think I'm a rapist again.
Yeah.
So he checked into rehab, and once he does that, he becomes a born-again Christian, of course.
Really?
I will say this about our guy here, Darrell. Yeah. By the way, breaking a, top 5 crime and sports rule? Don't just find religion. Because
religion out of the gate is crazy.
Out of the gate, not good. So he becomes a born-again Christian. It's funny, like I said, because when he finds something that he believes is a solution, he jumps in with both feet.
Fucking, yeah.
Coke?
Dedicates it. Yeah.
Let's do it from the time I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Christianity? Great.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Dive right in. He got married again and became a spokesman for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Oh, my God.
Those ass wipes.
The rep of them all.
Yeah. His production level on the field declined after rehab, though.
Oh.
And he never was the same player again.
Really?
Yeah. Jesus, like it said, you trying to tell me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Apparently not.
Jesus really abandoned him.
Apparently cocaine is a better off-speed pitch hitter than Jesus. If you got to bet,
the devil's good for your knees.
Yeah, I'm saying. If you had to bet who's going to come out on top, there you go. Cocaine,
wow.
I think. Yeah. So it's a mess. By the way, here's a picture of him at this point. He's a odd-looking fella.
Really?
His chest hair.
He does look like. I mean, that's not chest hair.
No, that's because this is shaved. His chest hair connects with his facial hair.
His chest hair goes to his Adam's apple.
It goes.
It's going up. Yeah.
It's a straight line. That's where he shaved.
Yeah. It's aiming
his
up
beard,
too. So that's that's chest hair.
His beard connected with his chest hair.
His beard stops at his Adam's apple, and that's where his chest hair starts.
And he decided shave the beard, leave the chest hair line at Adam's apple
way
height.
up high.
It's a strange fucking decision for a look.
I got chest hair, but I have to wear a shirt. So how do I tell everybody that I have it?
I really want them to know. These shirts don't show enough, and it is 1980. So there's March 19th, 1980. The newspaper headline is Porter absent still a mystery.
Oh?
What's wrong with Darrell Porter? Nobody who knows will say. It's so much worse than if they just said he had a drug problem and he went to rehab. Like, this is so much worse. Fans, friends, and followers of Kansas City's all-star catcher have to wonder, what in the world could be wrong with Darrell Porter? This much is known. He left the Kansas City Royals spring training complex at Fort Myers, Florida on Friday. Jeez, that's a lot of Fs. On Sunday, in a voice that wavered and seemed about to break, General Manager Joe Burke made the announcement at the impromptu news conference. That's the one we read before. He described the problem as a very sensitive thing. Burke said, I couldn't feel any worse if this has happened to a member of my family. As well as I know Darrell, I guess he's like a member of the family. I hope I never have to go through an experience like this again.
Right.
You will if you're going to be the general manager of a sports team. It's going to happen a whole lot more. So Burke said he will not be specific. He said, Darrell came to me in confidence. I've been advised that it is very important for me to not betray that confidence. I'm glad he came to me, and I hope that if any of our other players ever have problems, they will come to me. When Darrell returns, maybe he will want to talk about it. Okay, that is March 19th. By March 26th, the headline is Alcoholism Sidelines Darrell Porter.
It's a real problem.
Which alcoholism was totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, if you said, by the mid-'80s, if you said, I have a coke problem and I'm going to rehab, people would applaud you for that and be like, oh, that's very brave of you to say you have a problem. But in 1980, if you said that, you were a scumbag who should be kicked out of the league forever because you did cocaine. Whereas an alcoholic, everyone in America was a fucking alcoholic at that point. So that's fine. That's like, oh, yeah, you got a little too deep in the water. That's back toward the shallow end, pal. There you go.
Watching the footage of interviews of people when they find out that you can't drink and drive anymore is fucking
That's
crazy.
hilarious. The British one?
No, Americans.
Oh,
Americans learning that you can't drink and drive anymore. Guys are like, "What's the problem?" Sometimes you got to stop and have one on the way home after a hard day's work.
Yeah,
like,
that's what they do.
Yeah, but people are dead because of this.
Half the time they'd be, 4 or 5 deep from the office too.
Yeah.
They'd be drinking in the office and they'd drive home. They would stop at the bar for a couple. That was just normal back then.
These people are like, "You're gonna throw me in jail for that?"
There's an old video of people at an English pub.
Yeah.
When the day their laws went into effect there that you couldn't drink and drive, and these indignant Brits are fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna still do it,
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm an adult. I'll do what I want. I can control my car. I've been doing it for years. I'm gonna fucking
do
tell
your best
me how
to stop me, then,
Yeah. He goes, "Oh, there's a bunch of rubbish." One guy says, "Oh, that's just rubbish now."
American bobbies carry shooters. You ain't even got one of those.
What are you gonna do? I'm okay. I just pictured him pointing at his empty belt. What you got there? Nothing. All right then.
Quarters to go use the blower to calm warrior. I don't care. I'm gone by then.
Okay, so alcoholism sidelines Darrell Porter. And they said, the article says, they have already reconciled themselves to the fact that he's on temporary leave. The next question is, what's it going to be like when he returns? Other player on the team, Pete Lecoq, which is, if you're not a baseball fan, that is a real player.
Fantastic.
Pete Lecoq, C-O-C-K, Lecoq. Yeah. He said, I can just hear it now. He'll have a bad game, go something like 0 for 4, and some fan's going to yell, hey, Darrell, why don't you go have a drink? Yeah,
not while you're on the team. They'll just be.
Yeah.
Lecoq? I don't
hey, Lecoq.
Drinks. You're
I'm
too much fun.
distracted by your teammate's last name. Oh,
the guy whose last name is French for the cock.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Pete Lecoq in the past.
Have we?
Oh, God, he's come up.
Why does this
10
feel
times.
brand new?
I don't know. He's come up 10 times. I think he's made the exact same jokes every time, too. So, in effect,
I hope I did.
That means that when it hits your brain
That's
thinks.
all I think.
Well, no, your brain registers it the same every time, which is funny. So over the years of this show, 9 years now, your brain hasn't changed at all. That should be a compliment. As a comedian, you want that. That's good.
Evolved.
We need that.
Staying even keel.
I'm trying to avoid growth at all costs. As a comedian, it's not good for you. It really isn't. It's just going to mess your game up.
Fantastic.
Only going to fuck myself up if I try to grow. It's not going to work. So they said there isn't even a hint of a smile on Lecoq's face because he knows it's more serious than that. A teammate, a friend, has a problem. Alcoholism.
Great.
Darrell.
Yeah. Be a pal.
Yeah, what the fuck? He confided in Joe Burke about the personal problems and all that sort of shit here. According to Ray's father, a service manager at an Oklahoma City auto dealer, his 28-year-old son is now undergoing treatment somewhere. He doesn't know where.
Oh.
Ray says, he told me he was very disgusted with his life, the drinking he does, and his routine. He's been in a situation where it would be easy for any of us to get into a drinking habit, and it's awfully hard to break. He has been awfully unhappy with his inability to get straight, and he finally decided to dry up.
That's his dad, huh?
That's his dad saying that. He's getting his shit together, which is great. He said one of the players on the team, Jamie Quirk, said he's kind of a quiet guy. That's why we were all surprised to find out what happened. In fact, most of us didn't know what was wrong until we read what his father said in the papers.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He said some of us thought that the reason he left had something to do with his contract. They'd been bugging him to sign. Then we found out what it was. I never knew Darrell drank that much, and I've known him for 3 years. Wow. Yeah, because it's not the drinking that's the problem. It's the drugs. Right. That's his issue. They said so. This Quirk, by the way, said he's benefited because he's a backup catcher, so now he gets playing time. Okay. I mean, he's not that disappointed, I'm sure. Quirk said, I have to look at it two ways. He said, I sure hope Darrell works things out for himself. At the same time, it's a break for me. I've never had a break before. John and I both realize neither one of us is Darrell Porter, and I'm sorry I'm getting the chance this way, but I have to do the best I can while I have the chance. Like, I got to do my shit. He says, though, he has a lot of respect for Porter and the guts he has to admit that he has a problem. He said, how many people can do that? And you know how nasty fans can be. Hey, Porter, see you at the nearest bar. There goes the guy with the alcohol problem. I'm sure he had to think about how it was going to be when he comes back. If they'd only realized how much of a man it took to stand up and say he had a problem. And then he went on to say he wondered how many closet alcoholics are in the league that don't have the guts to do what Darrell just did.
It's going to be a lot.
That is something. So following rehab, he said that he was on the bed in a New York hotel, and he had, at that point, a, quote, personal experience with Jesus. Okay.
Oh, boy. Don't say
now,
that out loud.
people can say, I felt Jesus' presence, or I felt whatever religion you are, I felt the presence of the Lord. His goes a little further than that. His is complete with fucking, like, visual hallucinations and shit.
Yeah, to have that experience in a dingy hotel room.
Yeah.
I've had experiences in dingy hotel rooms. I would never consider it to be Jesus.
No, they weren't. They certainly weren't hallucinatory either right now. That's the thing.
They happened.
So between his lack of hitting and this, I'm going to say maybe drugs are good for Darrell. Maybe he needs drugs because this is weird.
Might help him, yeah.
Quote, as if the ceiling opened, I was overwhelmed by the presence of God. I just knew right then that Jesus, who was the Bible said he was who Jesus was who the Bible said he was. I knew there was really a God. Life doesn't become perfect, but one thing I haven't been since then is hopeless.
With sober, he saw this, huh?
I don't even know. Yeah, sober. Jesus came through the ceiling. I don't know, but whatever.
Why would you ever use any drugs ever if your brain's capable of presenting that?
That sounds amazing. Yeah, that sounds great. So, I don't know. We'll see here how this goes. I mean, fuck, if he's going to kill himself with drugs and pretending that Jesus came out of the ceiling helps you not do that, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Right.
So whatever helps. So May 13th, 1980, this is in the Daily News in New York here. This is, Phil Pepe. He's one of the guys that got in fights with a lot of people, and he also co-wrote a lot of books with players. Okay. A lot of like Billy Martin's book. He co-wrote a bunch of the New York players. He's always like their ghostwriter or co-writer or whatever. He said, in Boston, a fan called him a drug addict. In Chicago, another fan sitting close to the visitor's dugout shouted to him, hey, Darrell, go have another drink. People are cruel, people are insensitive, and they will continue to be cruel and insensitive. Darrell Porter has heard a lot, but he has not heard it all, not yet. It did not end for Darrell Porter when he returned from 6 weeks in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center and confronted teammates in the clubhouse and told them of his problem. It did not end when he started his first game as a designated hitter a week ago and ripped an RBI triple off the wall against the Red Sox. Darrell Porter's struggle may never end. There isn't much that's known about Darrell Porter except he was the best catcher in the American League last year. That's fine, numbers-wise, yeah. He said it took courage to stand there in front of his teammates in the clubhouse and admit to alcoholism and drug addiction. It took courage for him to open up his closet and reveal all the dirty linen. Yeah, that's right. That's fair. So they say playing baseball is the easy part. The 2.5 hours of the game, trying to hit Tommy John's sinker or Ron Guidry's slider or Goose Gossage's heat, that's nothing. The hard time comes for Darrell in the long, empty hours before the game and the loneliness of the road and the cruelty of the fans. That's one thing. If there's a lot of boredom involved in baseball, like if they're playing an afternoon game, they're done at fucking 4:00.
Yeah.
They got the rest of the night to kill.
And you just had to listen to 4 hours of people that should have been at work yelling at you, calling you horrible names. So
what do? You know what I mean? You go out to dinner, not get drunk and come back to your hotel room at 8:00 and watch TV. Oh. It's tough stuff.
Maybe go lay in a hotel bed and wait for Jesus to come through the ceiling. That's amazing.
Sounds fun. So he said when that guy said those things in Chicago, this is Pete Lecoq here again.
Yeah.
Very quotable, Pete Lecoq. Darrell didn't do a thing, but I jumped up and began yelling and screaming at the guy. So did a lot of the other guys. To his credit, the guy felt bad and he apologized in front of everybody. He just wasn't thinking. That's the equivalent of somebody getting fucking railed in the comments of any social media post nowadays. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. My bad.
I was just kidding.
But that was in real time. That's hilarious. He said, Darrell's exactly the same person he used to be. He hasn't changed. He's always been a great guy, and he's still a great guy. He's had some hard times, and you have to respect him for what he did. He admitted he made a mistake and made a decision to do something about it, and he's doing it. He's a better person for what he's done. He has a closer relationship with Jesus Christ now. He's my best friend. I've always been close to him, but I'm closer to him now. I love Darrell Porter. I'm just glad he's back, and not just because he's a great guy, because he's my friend. There's a lot of things more important than baseball. Baseball is the least important thing. Okay.
He's rooting hard for him.
Jesus Christ. That is fucking something. A Kansas City disc jockey, when he came back, suggested that everybody who attended the game wear a yellow ribbon. The significance of which is in the song Tie a Yellow Ribbon. It means forgiveness.
Around the old oak tree, yeah.
Bill Beck, the Royals' traveling secretary, said, when I got to the park that night, everybody was wearing yellow. At first, I couldn't understand why. And he said that in Porter's neighborhood in suburban Kansas City, there's a yellow ribbon on every telephone pole. He said, the people of Kansas City have been fabulous. He's like a folk hero here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He says, though, he's not a hero, but he's not a villain either. He said, I don't deserve praise or scorn or anything else. Just leave me alone. That's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Makes me really want to go fucking do a line, and that's enough here. So, and all year, though, there's articles, fan abuse, next challenge for Porter, and they're talking about, multiple people doing that. George Brett said baseball fans can be the cruelest, most vicious fans of any sport anywhere. They have time to think about shit there. And, one of the guys here also said, just wait till we go to New York and Chicago. They'll eat him alive. And, I would say that's a tough time. In Chicago, they did, too. Paul Splittorff, another pitcher, said, I guess it's because he's an aggressive player or something. We could never figure it out, but it's always been merciless how people get on him. He's had to put up with more than his share of abuse anyway. I just can't imagine how long he's going to take it. It's going to be horrible, but I know Darrell, and I think he's going to be able to deal with it. And Hal McRae said he should never have admitted it was a drug problem. That was a big mistake.
Should have just said he beats off constantly.
Should have just, said that, or can't stop fucking knocking his wife around or something. Everybody understands that. I mean, everybody's wife gets mouthy sometimes, right? High five. Like, what do you... Wow, yeah. He said that people can take that and say real mean things, personal things.
Yeah.
McRae said he should have stuck with the alcoholism story. People will accept an alcoholic. Comedians make jokes about drunks, but nobody makes jokes about drug addicts. Well, I mean, fucking Richard Pryor was doing tons of them. He hasn't seen any of Richard Pryor's set.
Yeah, evidently. I mean, I think that this guy just doesn't know that there's a bunch of drug addicts out there.
I guess not, or he just thinks it should be, keep it under the covers here.
Sure.
He said, wait till Darrell's in a slump. What do you think these people are going to blame it on? Darrell's the kind of guy who's always taken a lot from the fans anyway. Now it's going to be 1,000 times worse.
Right.
Holy shit, I would say so. So a little more comes out in June of 1980. It says loneliness led Porter to the drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
It's all lonely. He's been drinking like a fish and doing whatever he could get his hands on since the moment he got in the league. But
I think that it's fun.
That's like when Jake the Snake Roberts said that Honky Tonk Man hitting him with a guitar caused him to be a crackhead. It was like, no, Jake, you were pretty deep into it before that, homie.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So, they said, he says, quote, it started with you know what? Let's do it in their own words on this one. He's going to get all deep and fucking gushy on us here. Let's do it here. So, in their own words, quote, it started with a lot of loneliness. I'd always been a star ever since I started playing baseball. When I started playing pro ball the first year, I got in there with a bunch of people who were just like me. For the first time in my career, I struggled. It was hard. It was work. It wasn't just go out and do it. And I was lonely. I'd never been away from home before. That was the killer, the loneliness.
He's going to really tie onto this, huh?
Oh, yeah, that In Their Own Words music was made for that statement, by the way. When I put that together 9 years ago, I feel like this is exactly what I had in mind.
He's leaning on the lonely angle.
Absolutely. He said he never was a drinker in high school. He said, I used to be the guy that drove all my friends around. They'd drink and I'd drive. He said, but at Clinton in Iowa, that's when he was lonely and frustrated, not hitting well. And he said he went to a teammate's room and asked if anybody wanted to go to a bar. And he said, we got out there and we proceeded to get pretty well soused. It was remarkable. I'd found my answer. No more loneliness. This is great. Alcohol, way to go. Make me have a good time. Fun, fun, fun.
Yeah, this also brings people around. That like to do it with me. Yeah.
Look at that. You see people in bars and they're talking and chatting. They're having a good time. He said, little did I know it always starts that way. Alcohol and drugs are a fun thing. They do what you want them to do. They work. Exactly.
They got to.
Yeah. He said
and a whole thing of chemistry that it does inside your body and makes your brain feel things.
That's why people do it.
Yeah.
He said, I went to Winter Ball and somebody introduced me to marijuana. It started on pot. That was great too. It was really a blast. I just progressed. One thing just led to another. And in this article, he wouldn't tell what drugs he used, but we know it's quaaludes and coke and basically whatever he could get his hands on at that
anything
point.
That makes him not feel like him.
Yeah. He said, I've always got to be aware of it because because I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic, and I will be for the rest of my life. Yeah. It means that I am more or less allergic to alcohol and drugs. It's something I've got to be constantly aware of. Uh-huh. Yep. Interesting. He said the counselors at the rehab center tried to prepare him for the questions that would follow his release. He said that he was told it would take 12 to 18 months to get his mind to start functioning normally. He said, we were talking about reporters asking me stuff, and he said, there are days when I just cannot handle it. There are days when my mind is just a tangled mess. It's hard for me to put things together. It's harder for me to make decisions sometimes. He said, but that will pass. It's going to take me a while. It blows me away. What brings me back is the fact that it will vanish. I did drugs for 10 years, so I've got to be patient. It's going to take some time. So from here, all the articles are, he is good now. Just finally better.
Yeah.
He's doing great. They said he's hitting well, feeling well, and doing well enough in his own personal climb back to the steepest hill of his life that hardly anything bothers him at all.
He's not hiding it anymore.
He's perfect now. Never mind good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says that he understands in each new city he visits with the Royals, reporters are anxious to speak with him about drugs and alcohol and everything like that. Yeah. He said he doesn't mind. He's honest with everybody. He explains to them that the problem takes a while to lick it and, blah, blah, blah. Sure. And he said he occasionally feels himself backsliding mentally. That's not good. Yeah. He said that's the point he wishes to straighten out. He says, I have no desire at all to take another pill or another drink. He said, that's not what I meant by backsliding. He said, my brain, my thoughts, not my actions, basically. Right. He said, naturally, it's not all peaches and cream. I pray every day and every night for strength. Drinking or taking drugs is a very subtle disease. It grabs you before you know what's happening. There's a very thin line between being an alcoholic or a drug addict, and you usually don't even know when you're crossing that line. He says that, this is his teammates have helped him out a lot. That's good. Pete LeCoq is there for him. When the Cockman's here for you.
He's never leaving you.
You feel fucking better at that point. He said his teammates have kind of, after a while, reporters will be asking him a shitload of questions. And after a while, they'll go, all right, come on, guys. Don't you think you fucking broke Darrell's balls enough here? Let's go. And his teammates will kind of try to help him, which is nice. And, that's good. So he talks about when he actually, told the general manager that this was going on. But he says, I'm much happier now than I can ever remember being. I went through a lot of misery. Hopefully, it's all behind me. Yes. He says, though, one thing, in July 24th, 1980, he says, it's brought me back home. He said he visited a mental health center Wednesday and mingled with patients. Not checked himself in. He went to
just went to do some. Is that even community service or
no? He's just doing. I guess
I just went and met mentally unwell people a little more mentally unwell.
Yeah, I just went and told them about my shit, and I said, if you look toward the ceiling, sometimes Jesus will come out.
There's a little crack up there if you guys watch with me.
That's where he comes from, if you see that crack in the plaster. But he went to the people in the drug and alcohol ward to talk to them. One was a teenage girl in a detox unit and didn't wake up. He said a fist couldn't have punched Porter in the gut harder. He never required detox. So he said it was, that's the way it was headed. He said, so this is a lot, man. He said, the first week or so, I hated everybody out there. He said, talking to a group of patients, he said, it's hard to develop the trust, isn't it? He said, the only bad part is when they pass the beer down the rows, one of the guys said. He said that, he likes going to baseball games, but that's part of it is when there's beers coming in, people hand him. He's like, now I'm holding this beer. A little bit gets on my hands and I'm smelling it. And
I don't want to pass it. I know I didn't buy it. I just don't want anybody else to have it.
Shit. This guy's a roofer combating what he calls a, quote, wild turkey problem. We don't mean his yard is overwhelmed by them. We mean
he's got a sincere problem if he's drinking that shit.
Yeah, he said his daughter hands the beer around him at games so he doesn't have to hold them.
Nice, yeah.
Porter chuckled and said, the first opportunity I got to go back out into the world was Friday night at the end of a family week. I was allowed to have dinner with them. I remember we passed a big beer sign that said Stroh's, and I guarantee you I smelled beer, I tasted beer, and it tasted good. It scared me. He said, y'all ever have any drunk dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one guy said, yeah, wake up, throw your feet over to the side of the bed and realize, oh, Lord, it didn't happen. Porter said some people where I was had some mean hangovers from those. Then he says, this is the roofer quote, it's a booger living sober. It's a real booger.
Booger? Okay. Yeah.
It's a real booger to live sober. He said, I can handle all the molehills. It's those damn mountains I have trouble with.
Right.
And Porter said, know exactly what you mean. Exactly. So that's what they talk about here. And he's walking through the center. He says, how many of these people you suppose were exposed by their parents? When I was married, I had a brother-in-law who committed suicide. Wonder if he wouldn't have been saved if he had something like this to come to. So, yeah, he's doing all this shit. He said that, he was sick and he needed help, and he's telling everybody it's okay to be sick and everything. He said, I was scared and it was hard to open up. I was paranoid. I thought somebody might try to spy on me. I had it figured out how somebody might even sneak in. He said, one day a man approached on the lunch line and said, hey, you're Darrell Porter, right? I said, yeah. He said, I'm Rick. Then he started asking me all kinds of questions. Then that night I found out he was my roommate. I just knew he was a reporter. I ran to my counselor and said, Wendy, he's a reporter, meaning checking into rehab. I just know it. They found me. She told me I had to approach him about it, so I did. We had a confrontation. Of course, he wasn't a reporter, and that helped me get over the fears. Wow. He said that he struggled through some group sessions. He said, I didn't do a lot of talking in the first week, just a lot of crying, and that wasn't easy either. You hate them because they were telling the truth we didn't want to hear, hitting it right on the nose. That's why it made you so mad. I learned a lot about tough luck, but the great thing about the group therapy is with all those other alcoholics and drug addicts sitting around you, it's just like looking in the mirror, which, yeah, I would say so. He said, I didn't realize I was such a bad guy until my family came and told me.
That hurts.
Yeah. He said that one of the weeks, a climactic family week, he said, I was back in my pajamas. He said, I didn't realize I was such a shithead at that point. So, yeah, he's doing all this shit. He said his former wife was summoned for their group therapy. That's going to help. As soon as she walks in, it's like, who's got the booze? Because now I need a drink. This was all fun and games, but get her the fuck out of here.
I needed booze to deal with her when I was married to her. I need much more to deal with this shit.
So he said, now I've learned to take it one day at a time, one at bat at a time.
Yeah.
That's right. He's always said he's going to keep helping, everything and, help and keep showing up and keep trying to help people doing stuff. He says, from my own experience, I can relate. I think I can help these people while they're also helping me.
Right.
There you go. So the next article here, by the way, this is right next to this article. Not the next article. Yeah. Literally attached to this article.
Page, yeah.
The sales, Jimmy.
Hell yeah.
Liquor sale.
What is that? Oh.
Happy Hollow Liquors. Right attached to it.
The man's going to read this.
Liquor sale. Lots of people considering maybe rehab or something like that. They're going to read this. And they can get Jim Beam a quart for $4.99.
A quart.
A quart. You can get some Johnny Walker Red
some Cuddy Sark,
$8.29. Beefeater Gin only $8.99.
Hell yeah.
Smirnoff $5.89, And get yourself a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon for $3.19.
$3 for a 12.
$3. You can get a case of Old Style for $6.69.
Holy.
So a case. Holy shit. So 1980 here, the Darrell is, that's the playoffs. Doesn't do well in the playoffs. So anyway, he remarries, gets a new contract. He remarries Deanne Galter.
Yeah.
And they are going to have 3 children together as well.
Wow. He's really got it together.
He is pulling it together. Lindsay, Jeffrey, and Ryan. Yeah. And he also signed a 5-year, $3.5 million contract with the Cardinals, and which is great. 5-year, $3.5 million contract. He said they'd be going to a new city, but it was one that was just a few hours away from Kansas City. And Whitey Herzog's the manager, who's his old manager. He said, it all works perfectly here. This is all working out. So he's very, very happy here. He's sitting down at home. He feels great. Like nothing can hurt him.
Nothing can stop this. Yeah.
Nothing can fucking hurt him at all.
Sober. Yeah.
He's doing fantastic. And wife and kids running around. Well, not kids yet, but they'll eventually be kids running around. At one point, though, tell you what, that house, he gets a new house, obviously, goes to St. Louis. He has a couple of problems, and he has to call in someone for some help. And that's Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast.
Yeah.
He calls in for help, and he says... How is it you come to arrive here? Well, I mean, I come to your house. You got pipes full of quaalude. That's that problem. I put a snake down there. It came up just fucking pills everywhere. I don't know how you just do that. Now I tell you that I'm gonna clean your shit pipes and smack your wife, but I think she'll probably go through enough with you. I'm gonna imagine you're gonna have to hear about Jesus coming out of the ceiling and all that kind of thing. And I don't know. Maybe I'll go smack your ex-wife. I guess maybe that. I don't know something.
He might pay you for that.
I mean, that's a service I usually don't provide to all my clients. You know what I mean? It's just a special few. But for you, I figure, maybe you've come a long way. I don't know. But anyway, I cleaned that out. So try not to put any more quaaludes down there if that's one of those things. And bottles of shit, gin and turkey and whatever else I found. I don't like it. And, try not to beat the kids. That's one thing. All right, good. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Boom. And in a big cloud of shit and pipes, he's gone. And Darrell's like, okay, good advice from Calhoun there. So December 18th, 1980, and more articles. He has so many articles that just talking about the drug problems. And he says in this article, it's good for me to talk about my drug and alcohol problems. Yeah. The last thing I want to do is sit and constantly hear someone talk about their drug and alcohol problems. I get that it's good for them, but imagine if you had to be around them all the time. You'd be like, bro, Jesus, don't you talk about anything else? Fuck.
Divorced people and addicts are some of the worst people.
They talk a lot. I'm like I said, happy for you.
Yeah, good for you.
But figure out a way to socially, get this out of your roster, please.
Move along.
Move along. He, by the way, gets $750 fee plus expenses for talking to people in some of these places he goes to. But he says he doesn't need the money. He said this is just to do it. It says Darrell Porter is rich. The catcher signed his St. Louis Cardinals contract the other day for a reported $700,000 a year, covering 5 years. He was married on November 29th. He's happy, contented. 9 months ago, he was considering suicide. He was nearly broke after squandering $750,000 in baseball salary. His cocaine habit cost him $1,000 a week. That's not bad. But he said Don Newcomb, that kicked it all in, that speech.
Yeah.
So he said the welcome home Darrell Porter affection was signified by yellow ribbons tied around mailboxes, trees, and utility poles. Right. He said he just felt like everyone was so nice to him, and that's it. He was like, it felt great to have people take me back. He said it's time to be honest. We have to admit there's a drug and alcohol problem in the schools everywhere.
Oh, in the schools.
In the schools, drugs and alcohol are cunning and tricky. They'll fool you. They come up dressed like your mother, and then it's not.
Right. It's just a trench coat full of quaaludes.
Yeah. They're like the Stranger Things monster from the fucking Master of Puppets season. They come to you looking like somebody else in a whole other form.
It's just quaaludes.
And it's just a pile of quaaludes. I thought it was my grandma. Turns out, pile of quaaludes. I had no idea. I got to eat all of them. My grandmother's going, please, the only way to save me is to eat me.
I need you to eat all of this.
All of them. He said, they're cunning and tricky. They'll fool you. Drugs and alcohol kill more people than cancer. That is not true.
Not true.
Maybe more than heart disease. Also,
not true.
Not even close. Drugs and alcohol can alter them, especially not back then. We might be getting close to it with opioids now, but we weren't handing out Oxycontin by the fucking handful back then to everybody under the fucking sun.
I think drugs is still fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
It's still below car accidents.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they added up. It's probably not that much compared to heart disease is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, not even close.
Not even close. He said they can kill drugs, maybe more than heart disease. Drugs and alcohol alter the mind, destroy the liver, and can cause heart trouble, too. They cause auto accidents. I'm very lucky to be alive. All my problems increased last winter. I turned to drugs more and more. I became paranoid. I thought people were chasing me. I was afraid to answer the doorbell or answer the telephone. So I wrote, I always feel like somebody is watching me, and let Michael Jackson sing the hook. That's what happened.
Don't answer the door or the phone?
No, or the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, not even the phone here.
Okay.
So now this is a big story of his addiction and his overcoming the addiction and going to these schools and how important and how sneaky drugs and alcohol is. And directly under that in the newspaper is beer specials. Old Milwaukee, 12-pack, $2.90.
Maybe he's got a point. Maybe this is the worst epidemic on the planet.
It's bad.
This much alcoholism going on.
Maine Liquor on 279 West Main. Champagne. Get some cold duck for $2.09.
That's how good alcohol is, James. You can have an article about how a guy lost everything because of alcohol, then advertise it right below it.
And then be like, oh, good, vodka's on sale.
Thank God they got Stroh back. Stroh's is back in stock.
I got to stop there, get some Strohs. It's cheap. Oh, my God. So, every article is just this.
Unbelievable.
They follow him where he goes and they quote him a lot. And this is drugs went from ecstasy to dependency.
Yeah.
He said, at first it seemed like I did play baseball a lot better, but pretty soon I couldn't function until I took that greenie, the speed, which is all the guys back then. Yeah. He said his choice of drugs was quaaludes, but he took amphetamines or speed before he went to the ballpark. And after a time, his drug use and drinking began to affect his judgment. He said that one time Reggie Jackson hit a home run off a pitcher, one of their pitchers, and Jackson stepped to the plate the next time. Porter gave the same sign, and Jackson hit another home run. Oh. He said, I don't know how many times my mind didn't function properly. He said, but that was one of them where I didn't even realize. You keep track of that shit as a catcher back then when you had to call the game and go, okay, well, he hits inside fastballs. Don't do that. Right. He said, I couldn't understand why people wanted to just be normal when you could take pot, coke, and quaaludes and feel ecstasy. Yeah. Wonder the same thing all the time. He said, one day I woke up after doing coke, beer, and smoking pot, and the guys told me I danced on a pool table in my underwear. He said, I was very shook up because I'm a pretty modest guy. He didn't even remember it.
It's his underwear, man.
He didn't like fucking rape a nun. That would have been like, oh shit, what am I doing?
You play sports. You're not at least down to your underwear in the locker room?
Come on, who gives a shit? Ric Flair did way worse than that in bars for fucking 50 years.
Right.
So he said his coke habit cost him over $1,000 a week, but he had easy access to quaaludes and speed through doctors' prescriptions. Right. Easy. He said it was he was able to continue in baseball and have the best year of his career because he devoted all of his efforts outside of drugs to baseball. He said, I worked very, very hard at baseball because that was the one thing I had left. And he said his addiction to stimulants became so bad that it made him paranoid of everything. He said, 9 months ago, I couldn't go shopping in a supermarket because I was too paranoid. When I was out driving, I was sure there was an army after me.
Oh, my God.
He's a fucking mess, man. That's not great. But now he's doing so great. Yada, yada, fucking yada here. Good for him. By the way, right under this is Ferguson Jenkins here pleading guilty or found guilty in provincial court in Canada on a charge of possession of cocaine.
Okay.
He had 4 grams of coke, 2 ounces of weed, and 2 grams of hash.
That's a lot.
Fergie, Hall of Famer Fergie.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So 1981, St. Louis Cardinals. Let's see how all of this talk
How'd he do?
Happens on the field.
Yeah.
Now, 81's another strike season, so they kind of had two halves of the season. Okay. Overall, they were 59, 43, and 1, first in the NL East total here with Whitey Herzog. And they said the Cardinals made life tough for him because they had traded popular all-star catcher Ted Simmons for him. So when you're replacing a popular guy, that's tough. He said, Porter said, from day one, a few of the Cardinals fans took an instant dislike to me. The vendetta by the St. Louis fans really hurt me. Things got worse and worse, and gradually it affected my game to the point where I hated coming to the stadium.
Really?
People on his shit, yeah. Which is exactly what they wanted. So that's interesting. Two Hall of Famers on this team, Jim Catt and fucking Bruce Sutter, both on this team here. He has a terrible slump. Through April and May, he hit 173. Oh. And then on June 12th, 81, the players went on strike, which he was probably like, thank fuck, Jesus Christ.
I need a break. I need to sit down and think about it.
I am hitting like shit. This is great. So then as the work stoppage happens, he went fishing.
Sure.
That's his thing. Then one day, he said he drank a beer. Oh. Then he drank a few more beers.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's back in it.
He said an alcoholic and a drug addict, for that matter, is never cured.
No.
He said all his life he is only a recovering alcoholic addict. One taste of beer, one snort of coke or whatever can put him back into the gutter. I don't like that, by the way. I'm not a scientist or a doctor or anything, and I've heard wildly different takes from different doctors about this, different people, because nobody knows what the fuck is better. Nobody really knows. It depends on the person, and you don't know the person and how they react till after it's done. So
we're all different. Chemical makeup is different.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mentally, I feel like going, this thing, I'm never out from under it, is a terrible mental. Some people it would be good because they would feel like, there's a pressure there to not do it. Whereas some people, I would think it would be like, no, if I beat it, I beat it. Go fuck yourself. If I'm not doing it, I'm not an addict.
But
how can you be an addict when you're not doing something? But then at the same time, doctors will say, well, because you have that tendency for the addiction. So I've heard it on both sides.
Sure.
Just as a layman sitting here, if it's me, I'm not going to sit here and go, well, it's got me forever. What am I, what kind of pussy am I? No, I'm going to say.
But when they say that, it lets me know,
I'm better than this.
Fuck, you've done terrible things. I want to know every story.
And it lets me know that I can't even go near them with a drink because they will drink it and then drink 20 more, possibly. And I don't want to fuck that up.
I feel bad for people that can't have.
I do too. I feel terrible for them.
You know what I mean? That's got to be such a fucking nightmare.
I feel bad for them too. Yeah, you go out with your wife and out of a bottle of wine and be satisfied with that. Right. And some people are like, that's good appetizer. Now let's get going into the real drinking.
Let's party.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yikes.
So he said,
or the people that have the chemical makeup that it shuts their fucking brain off, and then in the morning they don't even know what they did.
And
that
then they're
blacking
dancing in their
out
underwear.
Shit, that's crazy. I can't
insane.
imagine. I've never done it.
Me neither. I've never had a blackout. I'm not. You know me. I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't like it very much.
Maybe
so. I'm a smoker.
I wish I did. I wish I did have blackouts because then I'd never drink.
Yeah,
but I just happen to be able to gut a whole bunch of it.
Yeah.
And
I just know
fine.
If I have more than this much, I'm not going to feel good. So
yeah, and I have that too.
I don't like not feeling good.
I'm still a puker, even though I can gut it all. I'll
I
lose
remember
some of it when
we
it's
had
too
our
heavy.
martinis that day.
When it's just too much mass, I'll push it back.
That night we probably had 18 ounces of vodka each and 3 drinks. We had a quote-unquote friendly bartender, which is great, except when you don't want to have 18 ounces of vodka at a steakhouse. That's
a
probably
friendly
not gonna work.
bartender will torture you.
But then have me throw up a $40 T-bone after that.
Still buttery on its way up.
It was delicious. They did a great job with it. It's not the steak's fault at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said one taste of beer, one snort of coke or whatever can put him right back into the gutter.
Yeah.
1981, speaking of the gutter, he's hitting 224 this year with 6 homers and 31 ribbies. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. He was a better player when he was on drugs. Not that he should be doing drugs, but he was a better. That also has to do with the fact that he's about turning 30. too,
right.
which physically you're not going to have the same gifts as you had.
Perhaps
age.
the age right along with
it's all a coincidence and all wrapped up in itself.
It's all contributing to each other.
It's all contributing.
Yeah.
So 82 St. Louis Cardinals, 92-70, first in the NL East. They win the NLCS over the Braves that year, and then go to the World Series against who? The Brewers.
Oh, damn it.
His old team, and they win in 7 games in 82 against the Brewers.
Oh, look at this.
So he's got a ring, my friend. He is all ringed up here. So what happens? He has a beer, gets a ring.
Uh-huh.
You'd think you'd go, Jesus, yeah.
Look at this. All my success is coupled with the drink and the bills.
Something.
Yeah.
He hit 231 that year with 12 homers, 48 ribbies. So, I mean, he's not really crushing it anymore. 120 games that year. So his games played are down a little bit. But God damn it if he doesn't have a fucking ring. And he did well in the playoffs, too. Hit 351 with a homer and 6 ribbies that year. So he was the 1982 NLCS Most Valuable Player and the World Series MVP.
What?
So hot as a fucking hotter than a $2 pistol, as they say in the South there. Yeah, that is, wow, something. That is great. He was the only, at the time, the second player in baseball history to win both awards in a single postseason, the other being Willie Stargell of the Pirates in 79.
God damn.
So came upon it right at it. Now, if hopefully he was clean for that, because then you'd go, okay, I can do that clean.
I will do it clean.
Yeah, because there has to be a mental thing. Even if you believe that obviously, drugs didn't help me play baseball, there is a mental thing with every ball player and really with everybody, comedians, everybody, that you have routines. And if you did this, this caused this effect.
Right.
Yeah. I listened to that song earlier and had a great set, so it must be that song helps my brain have a great. You immediately start looking for shit like that. So if I'm a great player, I stop doing all the things I did. Maybe now I'm not going to be a great player anymore. That's got to be in your head, I would think. That would be in my head anyway. So 83, the Cardinals are 79 and 83, so not very good that year. So they don't go back to the playoffs. Oh well. He hits 262 with 15 homers and 66 ribbies. So that's really good, actually. It's not bad for him in 145 games. Mm-hmm. And Porter spoke to reporters about the team's struggles and his battles with addiction. He says, I guess I keep talking about it because it might be some kind of safeguard against me doing it again. But he also said, I could get back into drugs again and no one would know because they didn't know before.
I could get back in.
He's like, you don't know what I'm on right fucking now, do you? No. So 84 season, they go 84 and 78 and finish third in the NL East that year, which is fine. Now in 84, he wrote an autobiography titled Snap Me Perfect.
What?
Which detailed his life and his substance abuse here. Mm-hmm. Snap Me Perfect.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Yeah. He said that, he started to wear down to it around this year. He's about 32 years old, so he's starting to wear down. As a catcher, that's getting up there, catching a lot of games. Herzog wrote, Darrell Porter was just not producing. He'd gotten his life turned around after kicking his drug habit, but in the process, he'd lost his aggressiveness.
Oh.
Your balls outness you've lost. Yeah. Because you're
not willing
happy.
to take that charge at home plate anymore.
Not quite the same, no. 85, they go 101 and 61 this year.
That's not bad. That's
1985,
great.
Very good. First in the NL East. They beat the Dodgers in 6 games in the NLCS. And then they go to the World Series against who? The Royals, his other fucking old team. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
That's great. And it's a 7-game series, and they win that series 4-3 as well.
Guy's got 2 rings.
He's got 2 fucking rings, one each against his old teams that didn't want him, which has to feel great. That has to feel great.
Yeah.
Going up and make sure you go stop by and say hi to the owner on the way out. Go, hey, buddy, how's it going? You like losing to me? I guess you do. So, this year he goes 221 with 10 home runs and 36 ribbies in only 84 games.
Yeah.
It's kind of starting to fall off. He hits 200 in the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. So if Whitey, by the way, who's in charge of this team and now is like, fucking a dictator for life, basically, if you just won 2 World Series in St. Louis, If he doesn't want you on the team, you're probably going to be shit canned off the team.
Yeah.
And in 85, after the 85 season, the Cardinals released Terry Porter. Okay. Terry Porter. That's the ball player, Darrell Porter. Why did I say Terry? Poor Terry Porter.
Shipped him off to Portland.
They realized he's much better at basketball and sent him to
better
Portland.
served at feeding Drexler the rock.
They said, oh, shit, we thought he was a baseball player. Our bad. Why did we draft him?
Yeah, Terry Porter had an infamous quaalude habit before he came to the NBA.
Huge. Big time. That's why he got out of the majors, man. He couldn't do it. It was all quaaludes. Saw Jesus come through a crack in the ceiling, and he was shooting jumpers tomorrow. So, 1986, he signs with the Texas Rangers.
Jesus, how old is he at this point?
34, pushing 34 at this point. Yeah, that's tough for a catcher.
The Rangers do take a flyer on old men a lot, though.
They don't give a shit. Yeah,
and I love an old man.
Seems like he was looking for a team in the area. Is what it is. Oklahoma doesn't have a team. The closest one's going to be here. So that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah.
So he's 87 and 75. Not him. The Rangers are 87 and 75. Ass swipe Bobby Valentine back then. That's fun. He was the manager there. Rangers. I'm looking over there. That's a tough roster.
A little bleak.
No Hall of Famers on that roster. Put it that way. None of those. 86. He hits 265. He only plays in 68 games, but he hits 265 with 12 homers and 29 ribbies. So that's the best he's hit in a while. He led Major League Baseball in home runs per at-bat, or at-bats per home run, I guess is the better way to put it. He had a home run every 12.9 at-bats, which was the best ratio for any player with 10 or more homers that season.
Okay.
All right. He also broke his ankle during the 86 season.
Oh, damn it.
And was on the disabled list for 8 weeks. So
kind of need those.
Yeah. That time, I guess, that was the time maybe he would have been slumping. So good for him. 87, the Rangers again, and is this the same exact record? No, they were 87 and 75 last year. This year, they're 75 and 87.
Oh, okay.
And sixth place in the AL West. Not wonderful at all here. Not good. And Darrell hits 238 with 7 homers, 21 ribbies, and it's really winding down for him. 85 games. He appears in his last game on October 4th, 1987, and then retires at 35.
Okay.
He realized his body just can't do it anymore.
Right,
Can't
do it anymore. Yeah.
And you're not
that's the end of the season, right?
Yeah, that's the end of the season. He's not a big bat where they could just put him at DH. He's an average hitter, so it's kind of pointless. So in retirement, all he does is talk about his Christian faith and struggles with addiction, and it's his deal that he does. He goes around, he makes speeches. Makes a couple of bucks there. And he dabbled in some real estate and several businesses, tried a little broadcasting. He had an antique business.
Oh.
That's what he was trying to do. Hosted a weekly radio show in Kansas City. He wanted to join the Royals radio booth and be like a color guy there, but never quite happened here. Along with a couple other guys he knows, he worked with Enjoy the Game, which is a youth program that encourages good sportsmanship at athletic events and a positive environment for students and parents. Darrell said, that's what I was like, that sounds boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Let's get that fucking Coke and Quaaludes back out here.
Yeah. If I had to do that, I would get right the fuck back into drugs, putting up with the positivity. It's too much.
I'd be like, I got to get hammered when this is over.
Somebody's got to be negative today.
Fuck that. Yeah. He says what it teaches is respect for your teammates or peers, the coaches or teachers, and to respect authority and the rules and to do what's right. That's just what I wanted to hear as a teenager. I'd have been like, oh, so this sucks. Okay, thanks.
Tell me everything I have to do, and I won't fight back at all. I won't rebel.
I will not, no. Yeah. At the same time, during this time, his weight goes from about 220 pounds in his playing days to over 300 pounds.
What happened?
Balloons the fuck up. Not working, not playing baseball. Yeah, I mean, baseball's a lot of walking, a lot of exercise. You get your steps in, as a major leaguer.
A lot of core exercises back there behind the plate, crouched down. A lot of that. Like that. Yeah.
The sweating you do all summer with that equipment on behind the plate. No matter what you do, you're losing 10 pounds a day in water weight. And you got to, that's crazy.
Sodium,
So that's rough, man. You could probably barely even recognize him at that size, barely even recognize him. And which is interesting because other people with the same name you might not recognize. We have here with mistaken identities.
Oh, boy.
Here is one from 1977, the Kansas City Times. This is just funny. Don't call this Darrell Porter, it says. Last December, Darrell Porter was traded to the Royals from the Brewers, and the 24-year-old catcher recalls the trade the greatest thing that ever happened to him. The Darrell Porter who's listed in the white pages of the telephone directory doesn't share the same enthusiasm.
Uh-oh.
He got mistaken identity hard. Yeah. His life hasn't quite been the same since the deal was made. He said ever since the beginning of the season, he's received phone calls from young people, mostly girls, asking if this is the residence of Darrell Porter, the baseball player. He said, luckily, this guy's a half-decent guy because he could really be a scumbag.
Oh, God, yeah, he could be.
Oh, yeah, this is Darrell Porter. It's just
over.
a fat guy with a glove on and a bat over his shoulder. I play baseball. Come on, you want to have a catch? I'll have a catch with you. Come on.
Catch these balls.
I got some balls for you to catch. He says it varies from day to day. Usually I get 1 or 2 each day, but yesterday I got 3. He said at first it was amusing in a way, but now it's gotten to be a little bit bothersome. My wife doesn't think much of it either.
Oh?
They say those who call apparently don't follow the schedule of the Royals as the team was on the road Sunday, but they apparently follow catcher Porter's marital status quite closely. He said they want to give their names and addresses. I didn't realize the young girls were so ambitious. Yeah, if you're famous and handsome, yeah, they're ambitious. If you're you, maybe not. More often than not, the person calling will first ask if this is the house of Darrell Porter, the baseball player, and Mr. Porter, this Porter, who is 60, will tell them no. Sometimes the person won't even ask. He said, I've thought about getting my phone number changed, but I don't really want to do that. He says that he doesn't really want to be an answering service for the Royals catcher at that point either, though. There's also Darrell Porter, medical doctor. Oh, my. Jesus Christ. Chief Executive Officer at CTRL Therapeutics in San Francisco. Right. He does biopharmaceutical leadership shit. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And finally, and Darrell Porter, I don't even know what this is. FMI, Finray.Solar. Finray Solar.
Oh, it's a solar company.
Solar place in Pennsylvania. Yeah, he's the president of Finray Solar.
Oh, great.
And says he's self-employed. So I think he has his own solar company is what we're getting at here. Nice. And then finally, Darrell Porter, marketing coordinator at Logistic Dynamics Company. And he went to the New York College, went to SUNY Buffalo.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. 2000 comes up, year 2000. So Darrell just sits back, fat and happy here. In 2000, he was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Which he probably should be in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, right?
Well, did he
But he played for Kansas City and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I meant like all the Jim Thorpe stuff and everything like that.
I suppose.
August 5th, 2002. Porter lives in Lee's Summit, Missouri. And he leaves his home saying he was going to buy a newspaper and go to the park. I'll go sit at the park and read a newspaper. Okay. So that afternoon, 5:26 p.m., in Sugar Creek, Missouri, he was found dead outside his vehicle.
Oh, my God.
The autopsy on him finds he died from, give you one guess what he died from, toxic effects of cocaine.
He did coke the whole fucking time.
Yep. He is
this
50.
Son of a bitch.
He was 50, you motherfucker.
He snowed everybody.
Literally.
Yeah.
Snowed them.
Unbelievable.
And himself.
What a guy.
What a fucking guy. Yep, he said, that's crazy. He said, I'm going to get a paper and go to the park. He was going to go do some coke is what he was doing.
Going to do blow.
Wow. I'm going to go to the park and do cocaine is what he said.
Unbelievable. Did he have a newspaper with him?
I didn't see any. That's what I'm wondering, too. Did he actually get the newspaper?
Did he get the paper or was he just bullshitting?
The autopsy indicated that the level of cocaine in his system, consistent with recreational use, induced a condition called excited delirium, a diagnosis, by the way, that was rejected later on by the medical community that has found that that's not what happens. But at the time, they called it that. That caused his heart to stop. Police theorized that his car went off the road and got caught on a tree stump there, and he got out of the car, walked to the nearby Missouri River, then walked back to his car for some reason. That's what they found evidence of.
So he had it in. So he did coke and then took a drive.
Took a drive.
And then hit something.
Went off the road, went down to the river, maybe to throw whatever he had out, and then come back because he's expecting the cops to come. Authorities initially speculated he overheated while trying to push the car off the stump because it was hot and humid, but there's no evidence to indicate that he ever tried to move the car.
Or he panicked because he was high and he knew people were going to find out that he was fucking high.
Yep. Went down to the river, threw the rest of the shit out,
came back up, and the panic took its toll. He's 50. You can't do coke in your 50s.
No, you can't do coke forever like that. Are you Keith Richards or Hunter Thompson? If not, I don't want to hear it. Can't do it.
You're not conditioned for it.
Your
man.
body is not ready for this shit. No. So the exact details are unknown, but we do know he died from cocaine overdose.
Cocaine strain mixed with being 300
pounds.
You can't do
hot
that.
And humid.
It's going to kill you.
Probably walked up a hill from the river. Most rivers, there's a hill
human
from
hearts
them.
Can't take that shit.
No, God,
Jesus.
no. Like I said, unless you are one of very few specific people that seem to
and
have.
they're not 300 pounds.
That's the other thing. They're very thin. Their heart can handle it.
Barely doing it and without it.
I said Keith Richards, Hunter Thompson. You combine the two of them, it's like 195 pounds. The two of them together.
Their hearts can handle that. This shit is crazy.
Oh, shit. So 1,000 people attended his memorial service on August 9th at the Nolan Road Baptist Church in Independence, Missouri, and a smaller service was held in Raytown, Missouri as well. Longtime friend and former teammate Jerry Terrell said, "So all I've got to say is this, Darrell, I love you, man. I really miss you. Thanks for the memories."
Yeah, and I'm mad at you for lying to me for 15 years.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
So they talk about, there's an article here, says, "That's good enough for me," from the Kansas City Star. And it says, Darrell Porter and later Cowboys linebacker Thomas Hollywood Henderson, another Hollywood alum here, another alum from Crime and Sports. And we're going to do a bonus episode talking about all of his party stories from his book that he wrote, Thomas. They're incredible. Orgies with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I believe, and some other crazy shit. It's funny.
Hollywood Henderson was doing that?
Wilt Chamberlain, not Kareem. Wilt.
Let's
Kareem wouldn't have wanted that many people around. Like, I understand you're naked women, but can we maybe one or two of you and the rest of you please leave?
Right.
I have a migraine. So they said, taught us that the combination of performance, pressure, insecurity, and fame could crumble our allegedly super strong sports heroes just as easily as a thespian. Porter had no idea how sports fans would react to his disturbing admissions. Would he be loved or loathed? Seen as weak or strong? Of course, now we know the fans continued to love him. Maybe fans loved the fact that Porter didn't wallow in his weakness. He fought it. And that's what I give Porter the most credit for, fighting his demons. Too many of us never mustered the strength and faith to fight. From all that we know, Porter put up a good fight. He deserves our respect and death. In no way am I trying to portray Porter's weakness as a virtue. His battle to overcome drug use is not heroic in the same manner as a man or woman who conquers a tragedy outside his or her control. But who knows how much control Porter had over the forces that caused him to get high? We don't know. What we do know is that Porter dealt with his problem head on. We know that when Porter discovered a faith in God, he attempted to do the right thing in his community. That's good enough for me.
Sure is.
It's the whole article. Now August 12th, 2002, from ESPN, they say a doctor says he didn't die of an overdose.
No, he died of. What's the difference?
Yeah, they said that he had cocaine in his system when he died, and Paul Splittar said, if this drug can kill someone as tough as Darrell Porter, it's too powerful to mess around with. He said, let's hope that people remember the circumstances of his death, because you don't want kids questioning what he was trying to tell them. You don't want that lost just because it was too powerful for even Darrell to resist. That should be the message. Don't even start. Okay.
Yeah. Also, don't be 300 pounds and do coke.
That doesn't help. Yeah. Fuck. They said that he had a recreational use amount in his system, consistent with recreational use. So I think he just likes to do coke sometimes.
Yeah, and anytime you do coke and die because of the toxic nature of it, he died of that's what the report said, toxic whatever the fuck of coke.
Yeah, that's what the
an
autopsy
overdose,
said.
man.
That's it's not. I guess an overdose, technically, there's different ways of splitting those hairs, but you did coke and died, period.
Right,
that's it. Would you have died without the coke? Probably not. Okay, then there you go. Coke killed you. That's it.
Sounds like an overdose. I mean, bit. Just the dose was too much for you. Whatever the dose was.
Yeah. So the doctor, though, here says, this is the Jackson County Medical Examiner, Dr. Thomas Young, said that it's a condition called excited delirium, which causes excessive body temperature, behavior that's agitated, bizarre, and potentially violent, and stopped his heart. The doctor said heat exposure and an enlarged heart, which is common among drug users or those with high cholesterol, contributed to his death. Yeah. So, they said one statement here from his ex-teammate Jerry Terrell said, for 22 years, Darrell remained sober. The fact that he failed shows us the evils of drug and the power of disease. Are you a fucking moron? This guy just said he went to rehab and then never did drugs again until he did them that one day and died. That's what this guy just said. Impossible. He was clean. Yeah. He literally said he remained sober for 22 years.
You don't know,
Horse
man. And there's no
shit.
way.
I'm going to say bullshit right off the bat, just based on,
It's impossible. There's no way. No way.
Logic and common sense. So one of his friends here, Bill Stutz, said, I saw him in July and thought it was taken care of. I thought he looked like himself again. So apparently he had a little problem up here, and some people knew and some people didn't, obviously here. They said that he had left a note at home saying that he planned to go to the park and read and listen to music. Mm-hmm. And that's how it works here. So they said that, he's got his book out there and everything else. So August 14th, 2002, strong mistress cocaine creates sad end for Porter.
There it
is the article here. And that's more like what it is here. So he couldn't shake cocaine. That's it. Mm-hmm. And I guess he partied a lot, and it's a problem for him. And so they talk about last week, many people have written or called to say they could tell their Darrell Porter story. He did touch so many people. One remembers a huge collision at first base against the White Sox. Another remembers a handshake at the mall. And another remembers being inspired when Porter spoke. Mm-hmm. So there you go. He ends up, anyway, 247 career batting average in 1,782 games. And he had 188 home runs, 826 RBI, 354 on base percentage.
Yeah.
4-time All-Star, good defensive catcher.
Great player.
Little pop in the bat.
Yeah.
So not too shabby at all. And he was ranked, as of 2009, he was ranked 21st on the all-time list for home runs by a catcher and 20th on the all-time RBI list for a catcher. So, not bad. At the time he retired, he was a top 20 catcher of all time. Kind
terrific,
of thing. Not bad. He also caught 2 no-hitters during his career, which is a big deal.
Really?
You're calling the game, so it's half yours, you know what I mean? So that's not bad. He was also notable for being one of the few major league catchers of his time to wear glasses behind the plate at a time when most players would use contact lenses.
Right.
So there you go. He is buried here at the, the Longview Funeral Home and Cemetery in Kansas City. Uh-huh. So there you go. He's got a pretty not normal tombstone. Oh, his wife died too.
Really?
I guess. He's
first or last?
Looks like Deanne, April 26th. Oh, no, never mind. His wife's, that's her born date.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
1960, April 25th, 1960. So I think that's his wife will be buried there when she dies. Yeah, that's how that goes. That's her born day. And they'll just slap the other on the end of it there. That's not bad here.
Just bolt that down as soon as she's going to share the plot with him, huh?
Yeah, looks like it. People stole his letters.
What?
Off his
headstone?
The courtesy of the cemetery, and it says D. Porter, but there's no. The rest of the letters are gone. So I don't know if people stole them or if they just decided D was good enough.
Cheaper for the what is it? Is it DARYL?
No, his is DARRELL.
I don't think it fits there.
It doesn't fit. No, 2 R's, 2 L's.
I think they just did D Porter for his
deep. Yeah, they didn't want to misspell it.
Afford?
How is it? 2 R's, 1 L, 2 L's, 1. What? Is 2 and 2? It's not 2 and 2, right?
Is that all he can afford?
I'm putting D. Fuck this. I'm done. Well, this says courtesy of the cemetery, so I think they put this out.
Okay,
this is like one of those little flower things in it for him.
Yeah.
So can't get enough of Darrell Porter. Well, you can get a 1980s Kellogg's 3D Darrell Porter card. Gem Mint 10 out of 10. Perfect here. $129.99 for that.
Not bad.
10 out of 10 gem. That's not bad. And then also, you can also try some Coke to honor Mr. Porter.
His fucking memorabilia is expensive. Where's his ring? I want one of his rings.
I don't know much about Coke these days, but I will say that
if
you look it up on the internet, it says the average cost is about $75 to $1.20 a gram.
That's not cheap, man.
Which honestly, inflation has not affected cocaine much. That's much more than it was in the 90s. Let's be honest. No, really wasn't.
It's a little more than it was, right?
A little bit, but not much.
No.
Like, especially in like middle America, I bet you were paying $100 a gram for fucking coke in 1995 in middle America. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In New York City, you were paying less because what the fuck?
There's
it's coming in here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Market's flooded. What do you want from me?
Prices vary by location. Lower prices closer to the border, of course. In LA, you can get grams for as low as $10. Yeah. So for shit stepped on crap also.
Nothing.
And it can fluctuate a lot, obviously, here. You can also get a Darrell Porter 1985 Topps autographed card to Scotty, Darrell Porter. So if your name is Scotty and you really like Darrell Porter,
you can get one that feels personal.
$99.99 or best offer.
Yeah.
So you got that. And then you can also get a 1978 Topps Darrell Porter just card, 6 cents.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, 6 cents.
Yeah.
6
Maybe
cents.
I'll just give that away. Just cover the fucking shipping.
Yeah, just fuck it. Just do that. So there you go. That is Darrell Porter here. Mm-hmm. By the way, there's a couple other very quick updates we'll do here.
What do you got?
One is the Duke lacrosse scandal, since we did that.
Yeah, she's a dick, man.
Yes. On December 12th, 2024, she admitted to fabricating the whole scandal, which we already knew that anyway, which is stupid. We did the whole episode about it here. Right. But she admits that she lied about the allegations. She made her confession in an interview published on Let's Talk with Kat, hosted by Caterina Di Pasquale at the North Carolina Correctional Institution for Women.
Oh.
Unrelated to the lacrosse case, Crystal Magnum, as we said in the bonus episode, was in prison currently after being convicted of second-degree murder of her boyfriend in 2013.
She killed
She's a prize, boy,
She's
this
a
one.
Bad woman.
Holy shit. She said, quote, "I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong, and I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed me." She said, "I made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God." Yeah. So that is now everybody knew it, but she never said it. But now it's like 100,000% absolutely, nothing fucking happened to her at all. She said nothing fucking happened to her in this. And she says, "I hope the players can heal and trust God and know that God loves them and God is loving them through me, letting them know that they're valuable." You keep, if God's love gets any of yours on it on the way to me, I don't want it anymore.
If anything you do to people is based through God, holy fuck, what did that poor man do that you murdered?
That is fucking
Why was God so mad at him?
Wild. Then she said she referred to the 3 accused players as her brothers, saying they didn't deserve the accusations. And then also a Adam Pac-Man Jones update always. Yeah. This is like our third one from him.
He's so fun.
He is a good time here. Yeah. Pac-Man on November 16th, 2024 was arrested after the Tyson-Jake Paul fight. Yeah. So we were in Austin doing a show, and he was getting arrested here. He gets arrested. Arlington police say that he was involved in a fight in the bar area of the Lowe's Arlington Hotel near AT&T Stadium just after 1 a.m. Of course he was. An off-duty Arlington police officer working security arrived after the fight had been broken up, but said that Jones continued to approach and yell at the other people involved in the fight.
He's a problem.
And throw Popeyes at them.
Yes.
The Arlington police say the female officer told Jones if he tried to fight again, he'd be arrested. Shortly after that, another fight broke out in the bar involving Jones. When the officer and hotel security worked to break the fight up, Jones hit the officer in the arm. She then told Jones she was placing him under arrest for assaulting a peace officer. When she tried to put him in handcuffs, he got free and began to walk away.
Oh?
Other officers arrived and helped take him into custody. So he's charged with assaulting a police officer, public intoxication, and resisting and evading arrest, and all of that. So a representative for Jones told TMZ Sports, like thousands of other people in Dallas last night, Pac was in Pac. It's like when it's PAC, it's like Tupac. So I'm like Pac. Pac was in town for the fight and was enjoying himself, spending time with the fans. Pac-Man was returning to his hotel to wind down for the evening. He was in the bar drinking.
Wow.
He was not looking for trouble. Mm-hmm. The representative says Pac-Man adamantly denies the allegations, looks forward to explaining the truth, and when the time comes here, obviously. And also a Conor McGregor update as well.
This guy.
In November of 2024, an Irish civil jury finds Conor liable for sexual assault.
Great.
And ordered him to pay 248,000 euros to her. The jury deliberated, and he denied the accusation, saying it was consensual. And, I guess they had met at a Christmas party. And she accused him of forcing her on her bed.
The craziest thing he said was all of the witnesses there said it was consensual. How many people are watching this?
That.
God,
that was fucking wild. That shit was
gross.
wild. That was crazy. One of the people, the woman's lawyer, said she never pretended to be a saint and had gone out looking for a good time that ended up turning into a nightmare. Yeah. This lawyer said that McGregor was angry about the fight he lost in Las Vegas 2 months earlier and took it out on his client. I'm mad from something 2 months ago, so I'm going to rape you? That's a lot.
What the shit?
This lawyer said, he's not a man, he's a coward, a devious coward, and you should treat him for what he is.
Yeah.
So there you go. Said that she got put in a chokehold and told her, quote, now you know how I felt in the octagon where I tapped out 3 times.
Is that what he said to her?
That's what he told her. That's what she testified.
God damn.
She said, quote, he let me go and I remember saying I was sorry as I felt that I did something wrong and wanted to reassure him that I wouldn't tell anyone so he wouldn't hurt me again. She said she then let him do what he wanted and he sexually assaulted her. And then police investigated the complaint, but prosecutors didn't bring charges, saying there was insufficient evidence and the conviction would have been hard to get. He said she never said no or stop or stopped and testified that everything she said was a lie.
Okay.
He said it's a full-blown lie among many lies. How could anyone believe that me, a prideful person, would highlight my shortcomings?
I don't know
what
that means.
Now you know what I felt like when I was tapping out.
Oh, because I'm so proud.
I have such a huge ego.
That? Yeah,
I'm such an asshole. How would I ever talk about my shortcomings, is what he said.
I would never say that about myself. Okay.
His lawyer said, you may have an active dislike of him. Yeah, realize that he's a real hateable asshole.
Remember when he punched that old man? We get it.
Some of you may even loathe him. There is no point pretending that the situation might be otherwise. I'm not asking you to invite him to a Sunday brunch.
I'm asking you to overlook rape.
I'm asking you to just brush rape under the rug, please.
I'm asking you to overlook sexual assault because he's a monster.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Now, a few hours after that article, this is fucking crazy. This is the woman, her name is Nikita Hand. She released her name. Nikita Hand here. She was forced to move after her property was invaded by a group of masked men wearing fucking masks and wielding weapons.
What the fuck, man?
The men stabbed her partner and broke the front windows of her house, according to reports.
Because she won.
Which were revealed in the aftermath. No, this happened before this. This was leading up to the actual case, so they think they were trying to get her to drop it and intimidate her. Details of the attack were conveyed by the high court. Wow, that's crazy.
What the fuck?
McGregor was found liable for sexual assault. There we go. The jury found that Lawrence did not assault Hand. That was somebody else. During the civil court proceedings, the jury was told that Hand was making a claim for the cost of relocation to a different area in Dublin, but were not told why the claim was being made. So they thought that would have been a little bit,
Sure.
They might have made her a little inflammatory, It made them look bad here. They also stated that the young daughter, when this invasion happened, her young daughter called 911 in England to alert the police during the invasion, and that the intruders broke the front windows of the house before the cops got there. Wow. They said that now his team says obviously they were, they didn't said they weren't laying it at our feet, but they were trying to blame us for this shit, basically, which who the fuck else would do it?
Right. I mean, certainly somebody that knows you that doesn't want, that wants her to leave you alone.
No shit. Oh, by the way, in the courtroom testimony that he gave, he described his sexual encounter with her as consensual, athletic, vigorous, and prolonged. I gave it to her good, is what he said.
Ew.
Fuck.
Vigorous? Fucking athletic?
Vigorous.
What?
Athletic. 2 days later, he's dumped by proper number 12 Irish whiskey after the sexual assault ruling.
Wasn't that his own whiskey?
I thought so. Well, I mean, his own means that they signed him up to be the face.
There's a board of people, yeah.
Yep, they said since 2021, oh no, he sold it. Proximo Spirits has been 100% owner of proper number 12 Irish whiskey. Going forward, we do not plan to use Mr. McGregor's name and likeness in the marketing of the brand. He
as
sold
if that's
them,
ever going to stop. We all recognize it as his.
$600 million he sold it for, and him and his partners.
Whoa.
So, I mean, who knows what he got out of it, but plenty, put it that way. They said, in light of the recent court ruling against Conor McGregor, IO Interactive has made the decision to cease collaboration with the athlete effective immediately because they were developing the Hitman video game. And they said, that's all gone now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. January 15th, 2025 just happened.
Yeah.
He is sued and accused of sexual assault at a Miami Heat game in 2023.
Had to have happened, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the one where there's pictures of like him going to the bathroom with her. He's definitely going to the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah.
I've seen that. That's no good. That does not look good for him.
He said when she attempted to leave the center courtside club area, the woman said she was dragged by the hand to a nearby bathroom by one of his friends or private security members, and they said that McGregor led her to a stall where the assault took place.
God damn it.
McGregor called it a new false story.
Oh, okay.
Wow, interesting. So they said that a 49-year-old man, blah, 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 is seeking compensation for future past. Okay, not much there. All right, so there you go. The Miami-Dade County Prosecutor's Office elected not to pursue criminal charges, so civil case is all they have left to go on. And the lawsuit also mentions the incident involving McGregor injuring the man playing the Heat mascot, Bernie.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he punched it. Remember that? He punched the mascot.
A skit where McGregor punching Bernie and ended up with the man playing the mascot being sent to the hospital with an injury. Jesus fucking Christ. And this is fucking wild.
God, he's such a dick.
He's a complete fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But he wants to fight one of the Paul idiots because if there's the only person on earth he could fight and get rooted for on is that guy. And he's the baby face in that one. That's the scary part.
Yeah. I don't know. Him fighting that might make me root for the Pauls.
Man, I root for whatever water they're all drinking to be poisoned. How about that? Can we do that?
for the plane leaving the stadium to crash.
Yeah, can we be like a Batman villain and have like a big fucking plexiglass tube come around the ring and we just like put poison gas in there that you can really see. It's like purple, like in a 60s Batman fucking show.
Right.
Be the only way to do it. So there you go, everybody. That is Darrell Porter. Now, you might say, when the fuck did he get arrested? Didn't get arrested. That's that's a weird thing. But there's a lot of crime in there, and it's crime in sports. And honestly, it's an interesting story that I've been sitting on for years going, oh, but he didn't have arrests, and people are going to complain. How come, where are all the arrests? I don't know. That's a good story. If you don't like it, fuck
they
off.
They should
I don't
certainly have arrested him. He was in possession of cocaine.
I mean, he has plenty. Yeah, there's plenty of things he could have been arrested for, but, we're sorry there's not a long list of arrests. Just a real interesting story.
What a story.
Thought, kind of similar to China in a way, but not, but like in a lower key. I don't know. So that's why I thought it went there. So anyway, if you like the show, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. Head to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all your merchandise. Tickets for live shows are on sale for Small Town Murder, February 7th in Pittsburgh. Get your tickets. The next night in Columbus is all sold out. Yeah. So that is where you need to go if you want to see us in the Ohio Valley area is Pittsburgh.
We're there very soon. Jeez.
We're there real soon. Next week. So get your asses in there and come see us. Also, definitely sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. And that is where you get all your bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, immediately upon subscription, you get hundreds of bonus episodes you've never heard before. And then new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder.
You get it all.
We give it all to you for that $5. This week, what you're going to get, we are going to dive deep into Kobe Bryant's little issue we had there in back in Colorado with his rape accusation. We have the depositions. We have the transcript of his initial police interrogation, which is he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was hilarious. Oh, yeah.
Couldn't believe they would want to talk about it.
They said, bluntly, did you have sex? He said, no.
Bluntly.
The guy said, I'm going to ask you bluntly. And he said, no.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Sex. We'll talk all about that and more later on. And then also for Small Town Murders episode here, we are going to talk about internet salad, which is we're going to go on, look at whatever is in the news that day and talk about it. Not politics, though. You've had an ass full of politics for the last year and a half. It's fucking enough right now. So we're going to talk about everything but politics and just kind of let's pretend that politics didn't exist and talk about all the other shit in the world just for an hour. You know what I mean? We'll get back to it. You can, or whoever, everybody in the world's going to get back to it. But not our fault or our problem, or I mean, it is our problem, everything, but not our fault, or whatever happens, whether you like it or not, we didn't do it. Put it that way.
Don't lump me in with it.
We have no power, so we're not going to talk about it. We'll talk about everything else. That is definitely patreon.com/crimeinsports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show. Jimmie, I would like you to hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever, hopefully, die of cocaine while moving their truck off a stump. Jimmie, hit me with the list right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett. Happy birthday, Jordan.
Happy birthday, Jordan Bennett.
They are moving back to England. That's bananas.
I heard that,
Canadians,
good luck with that.
Robin Hannaberry, happy birthday as well. Zach Bowles in Philly and Ashton Wilcox. Thank you all so much for what you're doing.
Thank you. God damn it.
Other producers this week are Peyton Meadows, the land of voodoo, hoodoo, and all kind of weird shit. What is that from?
Cool. That is... Fuck, no, I can't even remember.
I forget what that's from.
All kind of weird shit. Yeah, I can.
Voodoo, hoodoo, and all kind of weird shit.
Sounds like maybe a baseball player,
like
baseball movie.
Yeah, it sounds like a hillbilly. Is it the guy that hates
Bull
Pedro
Durham,
Serrano?
Maybe?
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking at first, but
maybe. I don't know. Buttered Toast Legion President Jonathan Phipps said hello, James.
Well, hello there.
Said the Buttered Toast people are going to get mad. Happy Hour checking in Memphis. Like an autistic child IG page. I don't know what that is.
Okay. Don't like them too much.
Co-signing on it.
Keep your hands to yourself.
I don't know anything about it. Janice Hill, Amanda Potter. What is this? Octavio Escamillo. Otavio or Octavio? I don't know which that is.
Octavio,
a bad
Octavio,
speller. Not so old Martha. What is it? Pierrick? Is that real? Pierrick? Is that a name?
Pierrick? Wow. Someone couldn't decide whether they wanted to be French or an American kid born in the 80s. They couldn't decide.
Nestor Baragin, Kern with no last name. Kali Giannidos. What?
Yeah, that.
Giannitis.
Something Greek. Let's just say that.
Gareth Schneider, Crystal H., Stephen Mancuso, Anon Omus, you know what I mean, Alice Francis, Seth Tarselli, Ali Watts, JC, the letters J and C, Megan Skeel, maybe it's Megan, Lisa Press, J and D, the letters J and D, Sam Lowe, Ronna Keve. That is a first name or a last name. Ronnie Cave. All right. Patrick Dobbins, Jason B., Haley Cruiser, Alexandra, Marie Turledge. That's Russian. All right. Charlotte Gervais, Caleb with no last name. Josie Zavala, Jennifer Stark, Stephen C., Kristen Taylor, Paul John, Hannah Barron, Kitcha Halloran, Meredith Hahn, Big Al Fitty Cal, Chris Hayward, Amber with no last name.
Chris, Eureka.
Jan Valdeselis, Salice, Farm Junkie, Nice Lady, Ben Harden, Amy A., Ruby with no last name, Ken with no last name, Berber Searsima, Terry Martin Miller, Jason Welcher, Todd with no last name, Jason Wilson, God damn it, Michelle Thomas, Chris Mosier, Chastity, no. That's only one T.
Cassidy or Chastity?
No, Chastity Smith. Or maybe it is Cassidy with an H in there for no fucking reason at all.
Also, we don't know.
Jen King, Nicole Cochran, Hannah Johnson, Melissa A., Tyler with no last name, Jennifer Piankowski, Jason Constant, Kim Bayer, Ian Arsenault, Cassie with no last name, Mick Jagger, probably not, Stephanie Witten. If it is, he should have sent me more than $5 fucking.
He gets bored on the road.
Mick.
He needs more episodes. He's got kids, Jimmy.
Yeah, brand
new.
He's
got small children. No, he's got small children now. He's like 90 years old.
Yeah, brand new one. He just had a new
save that
kid
money
recently. Stephanie Witten, Rachel Santana, Jan Summer, it's Jan Summer, Stevie Mack, Ryan Sparks, Steve Peterson, Matthew Anderson, Jill Womack, Tima Wilson, Ronald Morton, Jade O'Hare, Karen Sprouse, Wendell Helm Jr., Pete Petticone, Carlo Ferraroni, Delane Ellison, Shady 307, a 320 driver, Annie Bailey, the Wolves. That's the Wolves, you guys. You can't do an F. That's against English tradition. Moxie Goodwitch, Jenny Michalowski, Elizabeth C.V., Robert Lorenzoni, Megan Good, Heather, holy fucking Schoenenthaler.
Heather, holy fucking shit.
Schoenenthaler.
Wow.
Whiskey Smoker, Michelle Bozen. James likes big nuts. I'll bet she doesn't. How about that? Somebody probably just heard. Remember, there was probably a sentence that you said you like big nuts. Had to be. Why else would somebody want me to say that to you? Jenny Bates, Claire Calder, Kurt Burkhart, Truck Butters, Adam Stockton, Faith Powers, Stephanie Riley, Brittany Hall, Alicia Douglas, David Adams, Egan with no last name, Melissa Burrows, Heath Peters, Maris Ann Carmichael, Mikey Mindy Bird, Jess Barup, Jamie McGinnis, this is getting tough. Matthew Ford, Carolyn Green, C. Match, Gary maybe, Tulio, Sandy with no last name, Kayla with no last name, Katie Roach, Shannon Martin, Cass at Bodgara Mill, Beverly Rosan, Katie Chandley, Kate Eiton, Maddie Reuter, Candy Nybert, Rose Logan Surgeon, Charlie Boland, Kelly Sullivan, Erica Copeland, Cheyenne with no last name, Victoria Summer Samar, Michelle with no last name, Tabitha Daly, Matthew Boyer, Dawn and Brett in Florida, and all of our patrons. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much. You're fantastic. Stuff. Wonderful beasts. Yeah. We appreciate the shit out of all that you do for us. So thank you for doing that. Keep hanging out with us. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com if you want to follow us on social media. Links are there. Come hang out with us and try not to do so much cocaine if you're that fat and it's hot outside. Christ. Please keep it to a minimum, everybody. That said, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country, who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.